Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our school alma mater, the Gold and White.
Pre-game wouldn't be the same without the official song of the state of Ohio. Here is
Hang on, Sloopy!
I had a smart comment, but I don't know if we're on or not.
See, I was going to say we got to put some smoke in the air soon, but never mind.
the middle of our city stands a structure forged from concrete and time. This is where we gather to watch greatness unfold.
Whether you know you are close, you can
This is Mollenkopf Stadium. The home to 36 NFL players.
Las Vegas Raiders select Lynn Bowden.
The stomping ground of 17 playoff appearances. The start of one man becoming immortalized. To 7 state championships.
And I ain't got no problem in moving around.
He's got a man over the middle, and that ball's complete for a touchdown, Raider! He throws it downfield down the sideline, and it's caught for a big gain for the Raiders. Here's a big hit in the backfield for a loss. Send it in, touchdown, Warren Harding. Got a man over in the end zone, touchdown, Raiders!
Let them know that I'm a champion. Come with this history. Let them know that I'm a champion. First string, it's a Dub City thing. It's time to go get a ring. Let them know that I'm a champion. We on the road to the goal. Game time, bang low. Let them know that I'm a champion. Game time, buddy, it's on. You know how we get it. I hope I do this speed limit. Dub City boy, I'm a rep like I'm in the Senate. Green light, gotta go hard, baby, start to finish. Yeah, I welcome you to the big game. Number 82, one hit, catch, break the plane. About to be a crazy game, better tune in. They say we ain't on the map, they better zoom in. Yeah, got the city on smash, now the whole world know where the real talent at. Before you hit the turf, gotta lace your cleats first.
dangerous times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world and keep the sky on your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Gentlemen, please remove your hats.
Kickoff 2023 hosting the Bulldogs of Canton McKinley. As always, Tom Burlap and Eddie, it's hard for us to find a football field in this area that has much more history and tradition than we see right here tonight.
Yeah, Tom, no doubt about that. Great to be back. Most wonderful time of the year. Starting off with a historic rivalry here with Canton McKinley Bulldogs versus our own Warren G. Harding Raiders. Look to get that bad taste of that 2-8 season out of their mouths. Starts right here tonight. Nice crisp night. No excuses. They want to start out here quick. They're going to get the ball, looking to make a stand.
Harding's going to receive. They're going to get the ball first to start tonight. Canton set the kickoff, their 40-yard line. They'll be moving from left to right on your video screen. Looks like Aris Coleman Bay and DeAndre Thomas are back deep for the Raiders. And it is a short kick that is taken by the up man, bobbled and down. And the Raiders will have good field position to start at their own 38-yard line.
Bulldogs try to catch the Raiders off guard there, seeing if they could maybe get a quick turnover. It's going to end up giving the Raiders great position here to start out their first possession of this 2023 season.
Well, that was something, they obviously looking at film from last year, that was something the Raiders had a problem with last year. They got caught numerous times with that onside kick, but not tonight.
Yeah, they're going to learn a lot from last year. A lot of those younger players that we saw, they're stepping up this year. A lot of those sophomores coming into their junior roles, juniors coming into the seniors. A lot of experience out here, a lot of speed, a lot of talent, little undersized. But we're going to see if they can use their quickness to get themselves in positions to make some guys miss and hit some big plays.
Number 19, the junior, Drew McCowan, taking over quarterback. He's got a man in motion, and there's a handoff up the middle. And that looked like that was number 22, Ryan Powell. He was met hard at the line of scrimmage for a little gain.
You see they're going to run this. I think they call this momentum. They're going to try to get it quick up to the line, see if they can catch that defense sleeping.
3 receivers right, 1 down here at the near part of the screen. Low snap, McCowan turns his right. And the pass is complete, but falling in the backfield for a loss of a couple yards.
That's Donovan McCoy, number 17, track star, runs a sub 100-meter dash. He's only a junior. Great things to come from him.
Brings up a 3rd and 12. 3rd and long early for the Raiders. And McCowan drops back once again. He's looking deep down the sideline. Overthrows his receiver. That's going to be a 3 and out early for the Raiders.
Yeah, not how the Raiders wanted to start out there with that 3 and out. But you saw something different there. You know, early in the game, trying to get that quick tempo offense going, really try to keep the defense on, keep them on their toes, seeing if they can stop the substitutions coming in from the other side, really try to take control of the game early. Unfortunately, that's going to result in a 3 and out, though.
Jake Doherty, in his 4th year as special teams expert for the Raiders, back to punt. A high but short kick. That's going to go out of bounds. Let's see. Looks like they're going to spot that at about the McKinley 36-yard line. And McKinley is going to have decent field position to start. So now we're going to see what the Harding defense can do.
Yeah, Tom, going back to that last play, Jake Doherty, 4-year starter here for Harding. A lot of this season is going to ride on his right leg. We talk about it all the time, the three areas of football, your offense, your defense, but special teams is a big part as well. If the Raiders are going to stay in it this year, they're going to need some big things out of Jake to keep them in the games.
Number 1, Keaton Road, the quarterback for the Bulldogs, bringing his team on the field. He's in the shotgun position. He's got 3 receivers right, 2 to his left. And he's looking to throw early. He finds Dante McClellan, number 9. McClellan is hit for a short gain, about a 4-yard gain. But Mr. McClellan, he is going to be a player to watch for these Bulldogs tonight.
That looked like Kamari Adams, number 8 there, coming up on that great open field tackle. But what I really like to see there, you saw 4 or 5 hats rushing to the ball there. That's the type of gang tackles that you're going to need in this game if you want to come out on the top in the end.
Gain of 3 on that first down play. That brings up a 2nd down and 7.
McKinley quick to the line as well.
And another quick pass out, looking for number 4, Xavier Harris. That pass is dropped, and that brings up a 3rd down and long for the Bulldogs right away, 3rd and 7.
Big play here for the Raider defense. You got a 3rd and 7 coming up here. It's a big play. You want to get off the field. You want to erase that 3 and out of your own. Get them on your own 3 and out. Get that offense back on the field and start marching up the field to put some points on the board. Harding coming out with that 3-man front.
And Rowe drops back. Rowe's going to tuck it in and keep it. And he's going to make the 1st down. He gets out to about the 48-yard line. Just enough for a Bulldog 1st down on the scramble up the middle.
Yeah, you saw Rowe with great presence in the pocket there. He saw that rush coming from his right side. Let it come in. As soon as he got that angle, he was able to take off to get about 5 yards just over the 1st down. Going to move the sticks and give McKinley a new set of downs. Looks like we got a Raider down on the field. Can't really tell what number that is. You know, Tom, it's kind of cool tonight. You know, the last couple years, this year, the Ohio High School Athletic Association, they've started the season a little earlier. Raiders and the Bulldogs lucky enough to get a pretty cool night. We've seen a lot of cramps that pop up in these games, especially the first 1, 2, 3 games of the season, and usually that's associated with the heat and a little bit of dehydration. Hopefully that's all we're seeing here is a cramp, and we'll see this young man return back to the game.
That looks like
that's Nemo.
Nehemiah Alexander. So hopefully, looks like he's walking off okay. Definitely a loss for the Raiders if he were not to return, but he looks like he's in pretty good shape, so hopefully we'll see him back shortly.
Oh, absolutely, Tom. Last year, we couldn't keep his name out of our mouths. I mean, he was a big player on that defense. I've watched some practices, went to the scrimmages, and there is no question. This team is their success is going to be determined by number 58 and what he can do out there on the field. Great player, great leader. 1st and 10
for the Bulldogs at their 48-yard line, and Rode gets it out to McClellan. McClellan makes a move inside, and McClellan gets close to another first down around the Harding 42-yard line before he's brought down.
They can't hit those screen passes, just getting their athletes and getting them in space, letting them do what they do, get upfield.
Gain of 9 on the play. Actually, no, that was enough for a first down. They are moving the chains. 1st and 10, Bulldogs. And there's the give to number 23, Stephon Thomas, and he's hit pretty hard just after he crossed the line of scrimmage. Gain of about 2 or 3 on that play.
That looked like Ryan Powell, 22, coming up out of that linebacker spot. Coming up exactly what you're supposed to do in that 3-4 defense. Bringing those linebackers up, filling the holes, making the tackle. Great open field tackle there by number 22, Ryan Powell.
2-yard gain brings up a 2nd down and 8 for the Bulldogs. They send 3 receivers left again, 2 down here to the right. And once again, Keaton Road is all alone in that Canton McKinley backfield. And he drops back. And again, he's going to tuck it to Keaton. He's got a lot of room in front of him. And Keaton Road up for another first down, all the way down to about the Harding 22-yard line, 23 maybe. Actually, more like the 26. But it is a first down for Canton McKinley.
The Achilles heel to that 3-4 defense is the blitz. If the blitz gets there, makes a stop, it looks good. But when that blitz can't get there, it opens up the Red Sea like you saw right there. Gave the quarterback a ton of room to run. Great open field tackle. That could have been a lot worse for the Raiders. Gives them another, gives them more life.
First down at the Harding 27. And again, Road, he's got Stephon Thomas lined up to his right. Dante McClellan down here on the near sideline. And the give is to Thomas up the middle. Thomas breaks through a tackle, gets some good yardage down there. Close to another first down inside the 20-yard line for Canton McKinley.
Yeah, just straightforward power football there. You see McKinley's going with this quick offense as well. We're going to find out what happened in the offseason, who's in shape, who can keep up here.
Gain of 9 on the play brings up a 2nd down and 1. Ball at the Raider 19-yard line. Still early in the first quarter, 8:15 to play, but Canton McKinley is on the move early now.
Yeah, look for a lot of communication. As you see this quick tempo offense, you know, they're going to be trying to get a lot of players in. That's going to mean a lot of communication on the sidelines to get these guys in and out on time.
And this time, Rhodes sets up under center, and the handoff is to number 6, Shakir Hatcher. Hatcher gets the first down, gets up to around the 10-yard line, maybe just a little bit inside. That could bring up a first down and goal for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, McKinley just right now, just, you know, mano-a-mano, man-on-man football, straightforward, nothing real fancy. They started out, you know, trying to throw some screens to the left and right, getting some guys in, getting them in some space, seeing if they can make plays. Right now, this is just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, as they say, type of football.
First and goal just inside the 10. The handoff is to Hatcher. Once again, Hatcher pounds his way down to the 5-yard line, where it will be 2nd and goal for the Canton McKinley Bulldogs.
Yeah, a lot of size on that McKinley offensive line there. Harding trying to use some athleticism to be able to kind of finesse their way to get some stops here. Right now, McKinley's dominating up front in the trenches.
2nd down and goal at the 5. And they're going to give it to Hatcher once again. Hatcher tries to get around that left end, and he's going to get it into the corner of the end zone. That's a touchdown for Canton McKinley, and the Bulldogs jump out in front 6-0.
Yeah, impressive drive there by the Bulldogs. Came out, really, showed a lot of different formations, a lot of different looks there. Like we talked about, getting some guys in space, but in the end, it was just pure football. It was just me versus you, straightforward. And I see a little helter-skelter here. We'll see what Canton McKinley, if they go to a traditional form, if they run something out of this.
Thomas Mankowski on for the extra point attempt. Keep in mind that it is Keaton Road, the starting quarterback in there at Holder, so anything could happen right at this point.
Looks like a little, well.
Possibly all that moving around is going to cost McKinley 5 yards on their extra point attempt.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a false start there. The clock was still good. Looked like somebody must have jumped early.
False start. 74, kicking team. 5-yard penalty, retry the kick.
You know, Tom, big points you brought up there. Keaton Rhodes, starting quarterback at the Holder there, something just to keep your eye on during the game.
And that kick is into the line of scrimmage and blocked. So the extra point attempt fails. Canton McKinley with a 6-0 lead with 6:52 to play in the first quarter.
Obviously not how the defense wanted to start out. I see Alexander, 58, heart and soul of this team. I see him trying to work out that injury there on the sideline. Really need to get him back. But, you know, they got a lot of players here, Tom. They got a lot of players that came in here. Antonio Smith. You've got Donovan McCoy. You know, the list goes on. I think there's about 5 or 6 new additions to the team this year that they look to see to get a lot of time in. And the way that they want to play this year with that speed and athleticism, it's going to take getting some of these underclassmen in there on some of the special teams, get those starters some breaks, get their breath, and get those younger, those sophomores, get them some playing time, get them acclimated to the speed of this game. But with the type of defense that they're looking at and the offense that they're running, just, you know, bang, 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 they're going to need to get some guys in and out. They're going to need some experience, and that's going to take a lot of communication on the sideline. But look for us to be calling a lot of different names as we go through the series here.
Javante Jones, Kamari Adams, they are back deep for the Raiders. McKinley kicked off short the first time. And a little bit longer. This is going to be Kamari Adams. Takes the ball at about his 12-yard line. Breaks a tackle. Still on his feet. Up past the 35-yard line. And again, Kamari Adams will give the Raiders good starting position on about the 36, 37-yard line.
Raiders once again going to start out with pretty good field position on their own, roughly, what's that, 35, 36-yard line, looks like they're calling it. Look to bounce back from that 3-and-out. A lot of offensive firepower. You got people like Chaz Coleman coming back as a junior. A lot of playing time last year at wide receiver as a sophomore. Big target out there. Look for Drew to be looking for someone like him downfield underneath, boxing out like basketball, get in position, 5-6 yards, moving the chains.
Gowan in at quarterback. And there may be some movement on the offensive side of the ball. And it looks like the Raiders are going to back up 5 yards to start. Oh, delay of game on that one. So taking a little bit long to get that one off.
I just talked about, you know, the importance of the communication with the type of offense they're trying to run here, just quick pace, looking over to the sidelines, getting guys in and out. Obviously, communication is going to be a key factor.
Antonio Smith is lined up. That pass is out to number 9, Eris Coleman Bay. He'll get it back almost to the original line of scrimmage. Be a little bit short. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 11 for Harding after that 4-yard gain.
Eris Coleman Bay, expect a lot of big things out of him as well. Got a lot of playing time on the defensive side of the ball last year. Going to implement him in the offense this year.
There's the give to Antonio Smith. That's our first look at him. Smith gets up into the line of scrimmage for a gain of a couple. Brings up another 3rd down and long. Going to be 3rd down and 9 for the Raiders.
A lot of fanfare around Antonio Smith. I believe he had a lower body injury earlier in the season, but he looks to be back earlier in the preseason. Looks to be back to 100%.
3rd down and 9 for the Raiders. McCowan back to pass. Drew had some time, too much time. He's going to be dropped for about a 1-yard loss, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 10. So we're going to see Jake Doherty and the punting unit return to the field.
Didn't get a clear look at that. Looked like he only had a couple receivers in the pattern there, but we'll call that a coverage sack. Looks like he had plenty of time. Thought maybe Drew would tuck that and see if he can get a couple yards and make that maybe a 4th and manageable. Unfortunately, the sack's going to end up in a punting situation for the Raiders.
Doherty with a high kick. And it takes a McKinley bounce and rolls back to the McKinley 35-yard line, where Canton McKinley is going to set up for their 2nd possession of the ball game. 1st and 10 at their own 35. 5:14 to play in the first quarter. Canton McKinley currently sitting on a 6-0 lead. There is a flag down back around where the Raider backfield was.
See if that was a hold. I couldn't tell if there was any, if Jake got touched there. Unfortunately, that looks like that's probably in the area of holding. And he's coming over to Coach Arnold, so he's going to give him a decision here if he wants to re-kick that bad bounce for Jake there for the Raiders. He may want to consider re-kicking that.
Into the kicker on the defense. 5 yards would be tacked on at the end of the run.
So of the lesser variety there, just a running into, not the
roughing. That's going to back Canton McKinley up to the 30-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10.
Looking down at the sideline, unfortunately, still see Alexander on the sideline with the trainers there, still trying to work out that injury. Young man had a great season last year. Expect big things from him. Hopefully this is something minor that he's going to be able to shake off and get in there.
Keaton Rhodes sets up once again. He's got a running back right there by his side. There's another little movement. I think Canton's going to get that 5 yards right back on the encroachment call. Defensive line for Harding getting just a tad anxious in there.
Yeah, first game of the year, you want to make a good impression. Guys are out there trying to get quick jumps on the ball, but the coaches tell you don't listen to the quarterback, don't look at anything. Just watch the ball. That's the only thing you want to see is the ball.
And Rode will keep it and get around the corner for a few yards. Actually, close to 8 yards on that play. That's going to bring up a 2nd down and 2. Sorry, 3 yards on the play because we already had 5 on the penalty. 2nd down and 2 at the McKinley 38-yard line.
See that 3-man front, 4 linebackers, 3-4 defense, trying to use a lot of speed here, use some athleticism to be able to beat some of these big guys for Canton McKinley.
There's the pass over the middle to Dante McClellan. McClellan gets past first, and McClellan's loose down the sidelines for a big gain. Finally forced out of bounds around the Harding 20-yard line.
Yeah, right now McKinley in control, running the ball, passing the ball. They've set up the pass through the great series they had in their last possession. Right now has Harding's defense on their heels. Coach Steve Arnold looking for his team to reach down deep. Right now it just comes down to might. What do you want to do? Are you going to get in there? Are you going to make a play? Somebody needs to step up. Somebody needs to be a leader right now.
McClellan was ruled out at the 26, and there is another flag. Somebody's lined up in the wrong spot, and that looks like that's going to go against the Bulldogs. That was the initial call that I saw.
It's like he called an offsides.
Somebody lined up offsides on the offense.
Penalty. Repeat first down.
So that's going to back Canton up 5, make it 1st down and 15 from the Raider 31-yard line.
Interesting formation here from McKinley to the near side. They've got 4 receivers, trips to the inside.
Rode bobbles a snap. He's going to be chased and brought down for a huge loss. All the way back to the 41-yard line.
Javonte Jones, we talked about this defense using the speed right there. Fast linebacker coming up, probably in a more traditional defense, you'd see him at corner, but he was able to use that speed, take advantage of the bobble snap. That's going to put the Raiders in a great position here on a 2nd and 25.
Rhodes may have been looking for a quick out to McClellan on that last play, but the snap threw that off. Brought down for a huge loss. 2nd down and 25. See if the Raiders can capitalize on that little mistake. Rhodes back, looking down that left sideline. He's got a man open, overthrows him just a little bit. That's going to bring up a 3rd and very long for Canton McKinley.
Rhodes able to find that one-on-one up top there. Receiver was able to break open late, just out of the reach there. Big down here, 3rd and 25. You got to get off the field. You got to play D here. You know, this could easily be 4-down territory for McKinley, even with that long 3rd and 25. If they are able to pick up 10, 15 yards here, might be out of the field goal kicker's range. They could be looking at 4-down territory here.
Rhodes was looking for Keith Quincy on that last play. Now he's got 5 receivers in the pattern. Rhodes going to keep this one. Shakes off one defender. He's getting some yardage, and Rhodes brings it down. He's going to, and just as we were saying, he's going to make it 4th and manageable. Big gain by the quarterback Keith Rhodes, scrambling up the middle.
It's going to be about 4th and looks like about 6-7 yards they're looking at. I don't see the kicking unit coming on. Looks like they're going to go for it.
All the way down to the 23-yard line. Field goal kick would be about 40 yards, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know,
haven't seen much from their kicker off the 2 kickoffs that they've had.
Right. Last one being blocked. Big play here for the Raider defense early in the season.
4th and 7. Rhodes drops back to pass. He's looking to his right over the middle. He finds Xavier Harris, but Harris can't hang on to it, and the ball is going to be turned over to the Raiders on downs.
Big break for the Raider defense there. Harris wide open, found a soft spot in that zone, sat down in it, just couldn't come up with the catch. That's going to turn the ball over to the Raiders here in decent field position. Raiders got to come out, got to establish something on offense.
Drew McCowan, the junior quarterback, leads his offense back onto the field. He's got 2 receivers left, 2 on his right. And there's a big hole up the middle. That looked like Antonio Smith once again, and that is a 1st down for the Raiders.
Antonio Smith, great compliment to Ryan Powell, able to keep low, hide inside that offensive line with a big gain. I think that's going to be a procedure penalty on the Raiders.
Raiders trying to move the ball quick, and somebody was just a little too quick down there. That's going to back the Raiders up, make a 1st down and 15. Take them back to about the 31-yard line. They had gotten out to the 36 on the Antonio Smith run up the middle. Now they're going to be backed up to the 31-yard line. 1st down and 15, just over 3 minutes to play in the 1st quarter. And I think the Bulldogs are going to give those 5 yards right back.
You know, speaking about the quarterback, our junior,
defense.
Drew McCown.
5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Starting the year off, but Drew is no stranger to that huddle. Last year when Dallas Jet went down, Drew was able to step in, do a great job at filling that role.
And that ball is tipped, and it will fall incomplete. McCown was looking for the quick pass out to his left. That's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 at the Raider 36-yard line.
Drew, a more traditional drop back quarterback. He's got good size, can see over the line at 6'3".
And there's the handoff once again to Smith. He shakes off one tackle, gets back to the line of scrimmage, picks up, it looks like about 3 yards. Out to the 39-yard line, brings up a 3rd down and 7.
Big play for the Raiders here, 3rd and 7, showing a little bit of momentum this drive. Need these 7 yards to keep it going.
And that pass is complete outside. But they're trying to catch the number on that
That's
one.
Kamari Adams, 8.
DeAndre Thomas, number 6.
6, DeAndre Thomas. Tried to get him in space there. Let him. He did make the first man move, but McKinley's defense quick to the ball, able to stomp out that drive. Jake's coming on for another punt.
Well, we wanted to see Jake kicking a lot. I don't think we wanted to see him punting this much.
Yes.
This gets a little more favorable bounce for the Raiders. It's going to bounce inside the 30 and down around the McKinley 28-yard line, where Canton McKinley will take over 1st and 10. About just over a minute and a half left in this opening quarter. Still only 6-0.
You know, Tom, we were talking about this tempo of both these offenses with the no huddle and, you know, really keeping this these offenses moving, these defenses on their toes. You know, wondering if these guys, you know, what they do in the offseason to that cardio, you know, the endurance. And as I'm talking about them, I'm getting winded up here trying to keep up with them. This is the first game for all of us.
Bulldog office back out on the field. Led by quarterback number 1, Keaton Road. He's got Stephon Thomas in the backfield alongside him. And Stephon Thomas is going to get the call and get around that right end. And he's going to pick up 4 or 5 on that carry. Let's call it 4 yards. They're going to bring about a 2nd down and 6 out to the 33-yard line.
Harris Coleman Bay comes up on the tackle there. Looking to see a lot of good things from him. You're not going to find a harder working high school athlete than Harris Coleman Bay. See the work that he does in the offseason. Bright kid, great future ahead of him.
There's a quick pass outside. Road was looking for number 82, Dayor Ferguson. That pass is dropped. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 5, and another big defensive play for the Raiders. Try to hold McKinley to a 4th down and relatively long. See what they can do here. If they can get a turnover here without any more points on the board, get back in this one quickly.
Let's see what Harding tries to come with here. With that 3-4, you can see they're trying to confuse the quarterback, showing blitzes from different angles. See if they drop a couple guys back into coverage. See if they can get a quick pick 6.
Rhodes back. He's looking over here to the near sideline.
Oh.
That pass was intended for number 2, Alex Vasquez. It was off the mark, and it was awful close to being picked off by that Raiders secondary.
Yeah, Bryson Powell, number 3, coming off that left edge there. Got some good pressure in the quarterback's face. Made him make an ill-advised pass there. Going to get the defense off the field here, get the offense back on, see if they can continue what they tried to start in that last. We saw a little bit of spark in that last possession. We'll see if they can put a couple more plays together, keep those chains moving on this drive.
4th down and 5 brings out the McKinley punting unit. Looks like number 11, Keith Quincy, back to do the punting duties for the Bulldogs. And that's a bad snap, but he does get the punt off. It's a short punt. And that is fielded by Harris Coleman Bay. I believe that's who that was down there back. There is a flag down at the 35-yard line.
That might be a marker.
Probably maybe the marker where he first touched the ball. I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah, I think because he fielded it on the bounce there, they threw that marker down. Once again, Harding's had the ball in pretty good field position. Haven't really been able to establish the offense now. Had a couple good runs, in that last series, but really looking for some things from their junior quarterback Drew McCown. Got some great receivers out there, some good size, some good speed. Really looking to open up this run with some of that pass, stretch that defense.
McCowan back to
let it
pass.
go or run it.
McCowan he's got a man down the middle, but that ball is picked off by number 11, Keith Quincy. Just a little bit underthrown. He had a man open down there, and that ball's going to go right back to Canton McKinley off that interception.
Talk about popping the top off the defense. Donovan McCoy, the speedster, coming over here this year. He had a few steps on him, unfortunately. Drew just couldn't get enough under the ball. That's going to result in a turnover for the Raiders. You know, Tom, as we got this spare moment, they've got some athletes. You know, what number 17, he talked about him, Donovan McCoy, coming in as a junior. He's a track star, runs a sub-11 100-meter dash. This is the kind of kid that can create plays, and what you saw right there, how he can get behind that defense. The line gives Drew time. He's got to be able to lead him, get there, and that's going to be 6 on the board.
Keaton Road gives that off to Ferguson trying to get around the end. That play is going to result in a loss of about 2 yards. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 12 from the Canton McKinley 20-yard line. And there are some signs of life from the Harding defense right now as they've held McKinley pretty well in these last couple of drives.
Ryan Powell doing his job, setting the edge on that play, not letting that sweep get outside. It's going to bring us to the end of the second. You know, for everything that's been said, thus far, Harding hasn't been able to really establish themselves on offense, but they've that bend but don't break type of defense. Being able to end that quarter 6-0 is a big win for the Raiders.
They've kept themselves in the ball game when it looked like it could have gotten out of hand early, but Harding has remained just 1 score out.
No, absolutely. I mean, you watched McKinley. I mean, listen, we're watching, we're visual, we can see it. McKinley's got some size. You look up front, they got some hogs up there, 75, 74. I mean, these are some big boys up there. We're trying to counter that with some athleticism. Using our speed, using our athleticism, using that footwork, being able to get around those guys, being able to use technique. This is what it all comes down to. What you did all summer, when you were in two-a-days, when you were in those practices, using those techniques, using your footwork, using your speed, using your endurance, to be able to wear these guys down, because you're not going to beat them man on man. They've got the size. You've got to use technique. You've got to use speed. And that's what we've seen, and that's what's been able to keep this to a 6-point game here in the start of the second quarter.
McKinley starts off this second quarter at their own 20-yard line. 2nd down and 12. Keaton Road all by himself in the backfield. 3 receivers to the right, including number 9, Dante McClellan. He's the guy to watch over there. And Road is looking that way. That ball is tipped. He was looking for McClellan on that one. Falls incomplete. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 12. And yet another big play coming up for that Harding defense, trying to get the ball back and get back into this ball game.
They teach you, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up, get in his way, alter that throw. Great opportunity for an interception there. Great opportunity here. 3rd and long, 3rd and 12. Get this defense off the field.
And again, it's Dante McClellan out there on the far right. Stephon Thomas in the backfield with Road. Road back. He's going to dump it off to Thomas. Thomas with a little bit of room. Thomas is going to get out there close to a 1st down on that play. A little dump pass out to the running back.
Going to bring up 4th and short. We'll see what McKinley does with that big offensive line. Are they willing to chance it deep in their own territory?
Brings up a 4th down and 2 at the 30-yard line. And they have Quincy. Keith Quincy is back to punt, so the Bulldogs seemingly aren't going to chance it here. They're going to punt it away.
It's like Harding's going to take a timeout here. I don't know if they're so sure that McKinley's going to punt this here.
McKinley may be looking for the hard count, something like that.
Yeah, early we've seen a couple. We've seen some movement up front early on both sides of the ball.
You got Quincy back there as a punter. He is an offensive starter. He handles the ball. That just like when you have Keith Road in there on the extra point, you got Quincy back there. He could just take off and run.
Yeah, it's nice when you've got when you can put some athletes back there. It really keeps the special teams coaches up at night, watching, whether it be these onside kicks that we've seen earlier, these short kicks, or even just the opportunity to do something untraditional with that, with your punters and your holders.
Keep an eye on the snap. The last time it was a bad snap. He literally rolled it back to him the last time. This is a little better snap, and the punt is off. It's not a really good punt. That's going to go out of bounds, and Harding should wind up with their best starting position of the ball game so far, out around their 43-yard line.
The Harding's defense keeping them in the game thus far. You know, it's only 6-0. A lot of opportunity here. You know, that last turnover could have easily been 6. Lot of game left here. A lot of opportunity for the Harding Raiders.
And not a good sign down on the sidelines. I see Nehemiah Alexander down there on crutches. The pads are off, so it looks like his night is done. So hopefully that's just something minor. We'll see him back next week. Antonio Smith, the running back, in there alongside Drew McCowan, and there is a whistle before this one gets started. So some sloppiness along both sides of the football down there in that line area. They're going to back the Raiders up 5 yards, take them back to their 38-yard line, make it 1st down and 10. So a lot of what we often see in the first game or two of a season on that line play. Low snap. McCowan handles it, gets it off to Smith. Smith breaks a tackle. He'll pick up maybe 3 yards out to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, trying to make something out of not much there. Saw the hole, was able to stop, kind of cut back and take something that could have ended up for a loss. Able to get a couple positive yards out of it.
Maybe the timing thrown off there by the low snap. McCowan looks over here. He finds Najee Jones. Jones gets it out to about the 44-yard line. That looks like it's going to bring up maybe the 45-yard line they're spotting it. 46, actually. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 7. 3 receivers split out to the left. And another low snap. McCowan handles it. Gets out of the pocket to his left. Gets it down. That sideline's going to be an open. 1st down. Big play for the Raiders.
That 21, Devin Morgan. Drew using his feet there, buying himself some time, ran right up to that line of scrimmage, was able to throw a shot down the sideline for a big gain for the Raiders inside the 20.
McCowan finds Drew Morgan. Devin Morgan, I'm sorry.
Strong run by Antonio Smith.
And now the Raiders are threatening. They're inside the 10-yard line. Looks like an official timeout. There's a player down on the field. And that looks like, I think that's Antonio Smith.
Yeah, that's Antonio Smith. Talked about earlier in the preseason. Couple bumps and bruises. Let's see what they do here. See if hopefully this is just a cramp. You hate to see anybody get hurt, but you hate to see guys get hurt, you know, early in the season like this.
And Antonio looks like he's pretty ginger on one of those legs down there. So that's definitely a little more than a cramp. And again, hopefully nothing overly serious. We're going to take him out and get a look at him.
Coming off the field with some assistance. Gain of 5 on the last play. 2nd down and 5. Ball's at the 8-yard line of Canton.
2nd down and 5 for the Raiders. They're on the McKinley 8-yard line. They are threatening. Ryan Powell checking in at running back to replace the injured Antonio Smith. He's going to line up right behind Drew McCowan. There's a couple receivers out to the left.
6'1", 215, go
and
right at him.
And it is Ryan Powell. Powell bulling his way down to the 5-yard line.
Hand off to number 22, Ryan Powell on the right side.
Saw a lot of that from Ryan Powell during the preseason. Just getting behind his pads. He's learning to lower that shoulder, deliver the blows.
That's going to make it 3rd down and 2, deep in McKinley territory. Powell again sets up right behind Drew McCowan. And Powell again gets the call. Powell's going to take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders!
Exactly what you wanted to see there, capitalizing on the big play. You had two guys, you had the right-hand side of the line pull. Ryan got right behind him, was able to lower his shoulder, power his way in for the first touchdown of the year of the Raiders.
Big drive for that Raider offense to tie this ball game up. And now Jake Doherty on to attempt the extra point and give Harding the lead.
Now we saw some struggles last year within the snap and the hold and the kick. Big point coming up here for the Raiders and Jake Doherty.
Perfect snap, and that kick is up, and it is good. Harding takes the lead, 7-6, with 9:40 to play in the second quarter.
You talked about the athletes that they've got here as you watch Jake kick sail through the uprights to give the Raiders the lead, but they've got a great 1-2 punch. Great 1-2 punch between Smith and Powell. You saw it on that drive right there. They got down inside, able to use that power. Lineman pulling, just man on man, just football, just powering them in, pushing them back in the end zone. This is a great momentum changer for the Raiders.
Give a little credit to that defense. McKinley took the ball right down the field in that first drive. But after that, like you said, bend, don't break. You hang in there, you hang in there, you hang in there. All of a sudden, you get your shot, you take it. And now the Raiders are on top, 7-6.
Well, we've been talking for the last couple of years, Tom, when we've been seeing some of these younger players get a lot of playing time. And you see it come in games like this, where you go down and they don't freak out because they're ready for it. They've got experience. That experience showed right there the way they were able to keep their composure, come back, and now take the lead here with 9 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter.
It looks like Xavier Harris and Shakir Hatcher. They're back deep for the Bulldogs.
Good sign on the sideline right now. I see number 10, Antonio Smith, running some sprints there, working out that injury. It looks like he's going to be able to return to the game.
Jake Doherty on to do the kicking chores. And Ed, this is another area that was a weakness last year, the kickoff coverage. Let's see what Harding has, if they've got that shored up a little bit more this season.
Jake, 4-year starter. I know he's been working on that strength. He's able to get that ball close to the goal line.
That one's going to go out of bounds.
It's a great weapon. We talk about the three phases of football: offense, defense, special team. In high school, you put the ball in the end zone, it's a dead ball. We got a lot of skill players that we put back deep, and when we play these teams and they're able to put it in the end zone, it basically just takes that aspect of the game away. Obviously not what was intended there for Jake with that illegal procedure, kick out of bounds. Going to give McKinley great field position here to start this drive.
That's going to give McKinley the ball at their 35-yard line. 1st and 10 with 9:40 to play in the half. Keaton Road once again. That is Stephon Thomas. He's met hard at the line of scrimmage. Gain of maybe 2 on that play.
Really like to see how these linebackers are coming up and filling.
That's a gain of 1. Make it 2nd down and 9 at the 36. This time tries to get that pass out to McClellan, and it is knocked down. Another big defensive play, and then you can almost see the defense after that first drive. You can see the defense slowly just starting to believe a little bit. Hey, we can stop these guys.
Yeah, they and that's what it comes down to. It comes down to believing in yourself, trust the process, trust your coaches, trust the play calls, but go out there, use that athleticism, make plays.
Big 3rd down and 9. It just seems like big play after big play for this Harding defense right now. Stop this McKinley offense and get the ball back in their hands. And Rode looking deep. He's going to keep this one. And Rode is going to be dropped after a short game. Brings up another 4th down and long. And again, the defense steps up.
Deshaun Wynn, we talked about that 3-3 defense, kind of confused the quarterback. That was obviously, he had all the time in the world to throw the ball, but he couldn't find anybody. Raiders defense able to collapse on him, bring up this 4th and 9, get the offense back on the field.
There is Coleman Bay once again back to take this punt. Keith Quincy in there to do the punting chores for McKinley. And the momentum in this ball game has turned 180 degrees. High punt. Coleman signals for the fair catch. Wise choice right there. That's going to give Harding the ball 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
Raiders on a high right now after the score. Great defensive stand here. Looks like they're going to start out in the backfield with Ryan Powell. A little more power, but I do see Antonio Smith on the sideline. Looks like he's ready to go here. Let's see what happens here. You've got the speedsters on the field. Let's see if they start out by trying to take a shot down the field, get those safeties back, get those linebackers out back to open up the middle for those running backs.
Ryan Powell sets up to McCowan's left. The give is to Ryan Powell. There's a hole. Powell bulls his way, still on his feet, still pumping ahead. And 5 yards for Ryan Powell. They finally bring him down.
Talk about the power from Ryan Powell. Watched him all preseason just running like a man possessed out there. You talk about first contact, second contact. Keeps on driving forward for another 2, 3, 4 yards.
7 yards on a play. 2nd down and 3 for the Raiders. And this time, McCown with a quick pass out. It is caught. That's enough for a 1st down.
Looks like that was Kamari Adams, the quick hit out there. This is what they want that offense to do. Keep that momentum going. Keep them off pace. Don't let them get the substitutions in.
Low snap again to give to Powell. Powell's got room again. Powell into the secondary. Powell with another 6-yard gain.
Another nice run by Powell there. Really like to see him get a little bit lower and just explode through his hips and just blow up on that linebacker coming up on him.
Raiders at the 47-yard line, and Powell again. And this time Powell is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. He's going to fall down for a loss of a half a yard maybe.
Yeah, that time Powell was met in the backfield, but once again up to the line quick. Drew's looking over for the play. Offense up to the line, ready to go.
3rd down and 5, 46-yard line. Powell steps back.
Take it,
this time he's going to cut it. And he goes
early.
down maybe just a little early, but that's going to bring up a 4th down and short. So we'll see what the Raiders do here. It's about a 4th down and 2 at their 49-yard line. They're going to keep the offense on the field, it looks like, and try to pick this one up.
See, maybe a hard count, get him to jump. They're still talking about it over there. Coach Arnold's going to want to talk about it. You know, I think they call that a business decision that Drew made there.
Yeah.
Early in the season, though, you don't want to see your starting quarterback go down. We're still here in the first half, 6 minutes, 21 seconds left. But yeah, I think they call that a business decision here. You know, he had a lot of room there, but you see that defense collapse and probably made the right decision to live for the next play, give themselves a great opportunity here, 4th and 2 around midfield.
1st down would have been nice, but 4th and 2 is very manageable. You got a big 215-pound running back who's feeling it right now.
Yeah, you got a lot of options here. You know, you've got the big running back in the back there. I think, you know, the defense has got to be keying on him. I'd like to see some play action here. I know they implemented a tight end over the offseason here. Looks like they're bringing Jake on. They're going to try to pin him back deep.
So Harding not wanting to risk giving McKinley the ball here at midfield. Bring out Jake Doherty and decide to let the defense try to take care of issues.
Well, the defense has played pretty strong here. Oh, it looks like
Doherty's going to hang on to it. Now he gets it off.
See, it's good bounce.
And there's a nice bounce, and that turns out to be a very nice play. Doherty trying to run it over, gets that ball all the way down inside the McKinley 10-yard line. And there's your special teams right there. That's what an experienced kicker can do for you.
You know, Tom, you took the words right out of my mouth there. 4-year starter. He's back there. He's comfortable. He's been there before. Able to, you know, that might have been a choice right there. Almost like an RPO for a quarterback where he's given his kicker that he has the confidence in to make the right decision. Get you out there in space. Make a decision. If it's there, take it. If it's not, be able to get that punt down there. Going to pin McKinley back inside their 10-yard line. And really not a bad choice here by the Raiders. Defense has been playing well. Other than that first drive where McKinley was successful in driving down the field, this defense has been pretty stout here. Let's see if they can do it again here inside the 10-yard line.
A little conversation going on over there between the officials and a couple of Harding players and the McKinley player. I see a handshake down there, which is a nice thing to see. But it is first and 10, Canton McKinley at their own 9-yard line. Just over 6 minutes to go in the half. Stephon Thomas continues to be the running back. He gets the call on this. Actually, that was Dante McClellan, I think. They put McClellan back there. Or not McClellan either. That was number 6, Shakir Hatcher.
Shakir Hatcher was able to get that sideline. Was able to get the corner there. Might have been a hold out there, but the referee, I guess they didn't see enough of that jersey.
So Hatcher gets about 14 yards on that play out to the 23-yard line, first and 10. It's Hatcher again. Hatcher reverses field. This time he's brought down in the backfield for a loss.
Hatcher, the ball carrier, again, tackled in the backfield by number 13, Chaz Coleman.
Chaz Coleman, first time calling his name tonight on the defensive side. I think they've got him playing a defensive end spot. Got a lot of time as a sophomore last year at wide receiver. Look to see big things from him this year.
Second down and 11. Shakir Hatcher remains the running back. And this time Rowe drops back. He finds Quincy out close to a first down. Out to about the 21-yard line. That's going to bring up a third down and 2.
Chaz Coleman again, hearing him out there in coverage. Just an athlete, you know, dual sport athlete, great basketball player as well. Like I said, look to be saying his name a lot this year.
Now you've got Ferguson and Thomas and Hatcher are all right there in the backfield, along with the quarterback Keaton Road. And it's going to be Hatcher. Hatcher is brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. That brings up a fourth down.
Great penetration by the defense there. It looked like maybe that was maybe loss of 2. Maybe that was Devontae Ellis, 52 possibly. Great penetration by that front 3 to get in there and bring up this 4th and 4.
And that's going to force a punt, and Keith Quincy back once again, and the Raiders are going to get another crack at it before the half ends. There's Coleman Bay back once again to receive the punt. He's standing on his own 42-yard line.
Punts have been shaky.
There's a low line drive. That's returnable.
Yes.
And Bay takes it.
They're going to call a hold.
That could be the marker again where he fielded it.
No, I think you're right, but I think there's one on the far side there. Let's see.
There is a flag down.
We'll pause a second, wait to see what this call is, but it does look like they're talking to the Canton McKinley players. See what they want to do with this here.
And another big stop by that Raider defense. We'll see what this penalty is. He's going to get our offense back out on the field. Hopefully,
looks like they're waving it off.
Burn and return, number 36. Receiving team, blocking the back. Penalty to be marked off at the end of the run.
Well, that's going to give the
down.
Raiders the ball pretty much where Aris Coleman Bay fielded it to begin with. They're still good field position at the 39-yard line. And it looks like Antonio Smith is back in the backfield. So we have the speedster back there.
Different look.
And they give us to Smith, and Smith has nowhere to go on that play. He's going to lose a yard, bring up a 2nd down and 11 back to the 38-yard line.
Antonio Smith coming over here last year, had a great year in his, I believe his, would have been his junior season. Looking for some big things out of him here this year here over at Harding.
Najee Jones and Eris Coleman Bay are lined up down on this side. Antonio Smith is in the backfield. He sets up to Drew McCowan's right. McCowan drops back. He's looking to this sideline. Oh, and a big smack out there at the 39-yard line for no gain. That was a huge hit by that Canton McKinley defense.
Big hit on Donovan McCoy. We talked about his speed through the game here. Want to try to get him in get him in space right there. But big hit. But you like to see that. You like to see him take that hit. You get up. It's football. That's what it's about. You got to take hits. You got to get up. You got to play the next play.
That was Shakir Hatcher, the big running back on offense, in there in the defensive secondary for McKinley, laying the leather onto Mr. McCoy. That brings up a 3rd down and 9 with 2:18 to play in the half. McCowan back. He's under some pressure. McCowan's going to go down for a big loss. That's going to bring up 4th and very long, and the Raiders are going to have to give up the ball late here in the first half.
We'll see if McKinley burns one. I thought they would. 2 minutes left here in the second half. Remember, Harding started out with the ball, so that means McKinley's going to get the ball after halftime. Huge possession coming up right here. Harding's defense has to keep them off the board. You have to go into the locker room with this 7-6 lead. You do not want to give up any points before half and then giving them the ball to start the second half.
2 minutes left in the first half. 7-6, Harding on top. Harding facing a 4th and 16. They're going to be punting once we come out of this timeout.
Don't be surprised if McKinley sends the house on this one. Yeah, Tom, as we got a second here during this halftime, we're probably going to say this multiple times during the year, but really want to take a moment to acknowledge WSCN and all the students and Frank Bozick and Fred Whitaker and everybody that puts on this great production. We get to be a part of it. We get to sit up here and talk football, but everything that you see here is brought by the students and the faculty of Warren Harding, bringing you this free production.
There's a high snap to Jake Doherty, but he gets it off. Ball is fielded by number 4. That is Xavier Harris, and he is tackled immediately. And just to tack on to what you said, Ed, also a big shout out to a couple of our alumni who stepped up tonight to help out because we haven't even had our first day of school yet. Fred Whitaker is going to get his students on Monday, so he hasn't even had a chance to bring in a new crew. So a couple of alumni. We have Alex Richardson right here, one of our esteemed alumni on the camera up here in the booth with us. So big shout out to those folks coming in and lending us a hand tonight, helping us bring this ball game to you on this fantastic August evening. You can't get any better for an opening night for high school football. And it is 1st and 10. Canton McKinley, they're at their own 28-yard line. Keaton Road.
Interesting. I see a single safety back here.
Road back to pass. He's looking long. He finds Quincy over the middle, and that's into Harding territory. All the way down to the Harding 43-yard line, 1st and 10. And this is exactly what we were talking about. This is exactly what Harding needed not to have happen.
Well, they dropped 2 safeties here.
Road again, looking to pass. This time he's going to tuck it and run, and he's going to be dragged down after a minimal gain.
Yeah, it looks like that was a gain of 1-2. They're going to be quick back up to the line, but that's what you need right there. Keep them in bounds, make them burn. I think they've only got 1 timeout left.
2nd down and 9 on the play.
Harding called the timeout there. They want to talk about it. I was surprised on that first possession there. When you looked, you only saw that single safety, that single safety deep back there. McKinley able to exploit that for a big gain, getting themselves inside Harding territory here with about 1:03 left.
Just over a minute to play in the first half. Harding nursing a 7-6 lead. McKinley after a big early play on this last drive of the first half, but they are now facing a 2nd down and 9, and the defense is tasked with putting another stop on Canton McKinley so they can take this lead into the locker rooms.
Yeah, we saw that big drive out of McKinley, you know, coming out. Harding's defense has been able to step up to the call, you know, in the remainder of those possessions here, make this a 7-6 game. But as we talked about the importance of keeping them out last year, we saw a lot of scores by the opposition before the half. That's what they want to try to cancel out. You got the, you know, it just kills the momentum. Right now, you know, when Harding came back, hit that big play, you know, then we saw Antonio Smith go down, and then Ryan Powell steps up using that power, drives his way into the end zone. Jay completes it with the extra point to make it 7-6. You saw a big momentum change. Right here, this is going to be a defining moment of the game here on this 2nd and 9, keeping them out of the end zone.
And the give us to, actually, Rode keeps it. Rode tries to get it. He makes the pass complete. It's not good enough for first down. That was Xavier Harris over there on the far sideline. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 3 or 4. And again, another big 3rd down play for the Raiders. Rode doing a good job just to get that ball away. He was on his way down, flung it sidearm out there to Harris on the sideline.
Absolutely 4-down territory for the Bulldogs.
And a very similar play, and that was awful close to being picked off. Good coverage over there on the far sideline. That's going to bring up a 4th down and 3, and a huge play for that Raider defense coming up right now with 30 seconds left to go in the first half. And I don't think they really have a realistic shot at a field goal unless they're in extra point range, and even that's questionable.
No, they've got to get down inside the 20, I think, for the Bulldogs to be comfortable with sending the kick team, their field goal unit out onto the field.
Keaton Road is all alone in the backfield. We see Dante McClellan and Xavier Harris up there on top. Quincy and Shakir Hatcher are down here on the bottom. And Harding looks like it's going to take it. That should be its final timeout of the half.
Yeah, smart timeout there. Can't go into the half without him. This is a huge play here. You make the stop here. You can kneel the ball, go into halftime with the momentum, go into halftime with the lead.
You know, while we're sitting here, to take a look off to our right, we see that wellness center coming along. The locker rooms are if not finished, are at least usable. So we see the teams right here in the end zone. Our Raiders don't have to go all the way across the practice field to the field house. What a facility that's going to be when it's finished about this time next year.
Yeah, and you know, I can't say enough. You know, shout out to the Steve Shiro, the superintendent, John Lacey, the business manager, the Board of Education, everyone that came together to put together this beautiful facility, you know, for our community, for the city of Warren. You come into that north end of the stadium and you take a look, although it's not quite completed yet, you can see it. You can get a feel for it. The band shell is going to go over here adjacent to us, and with the addition of the brand new girls softball field and then the boys baseball field behind the visitor stand, you got the track behind the softball field. Just a beautiful campus, and great job by Warren City Schools and everybody involved.
Rowe drops back to pass, and it's 4th down and 3, looking over the middle. He's got Xavier Harris over the middle. Harris keeps his feet and takes it in for a McKinley touchdown with 21 seconds to play in the first half.
Looked like that was a zone, the safety, cover 2 type defense there. Quarterback was able to find that open spot between the corner and the safeties. Unfortunately, great athleticism by their number 4, Xavier Harris, able to keep his balance and just take the wind right out of the sails of the Raiders with 21 seconds left prior to the half.
And it looks like McKinley's going to try for 2. Keaton Road drops back. He's got Shakir Hatcher over to his right. He's looking for McClellan in the corner. There's a flag on the play, and I think the secondary for Harding grabbed a little bit early on that, so McKinley is going to get another shot at this two-point conversion.
Yeah, a little too much contact there. He stopped his progress on the route there. Now that's going to open up. That's going to be half the distance to the goal. They're going to take that to the 1.5-yard line. Those big bodies up front, that gives great opportunity for McKinley to either run the ball or pass the ball to convert this, get this two-point conversion to make it a 7-point game.
Half the distance to the goal, replay the try.
You're going to see it here on that fade route. Looks like that was Eris Coleman Bay, I believe, over there on the left corner.
And this time they give us to Hatcher up the middle. Hatcher is going to bull his way in for the 2 points. And with 21 seconds left in the half, Canton McKinley takes a 14-7 lead.
Well, you got 21 seconds here. Harding's burned their timeouts. I assume Coach Arnold's just going to take this kickoff, bring the offense out, hit a knee, and hit the locker room to talk about it. But you know, you go in there 14-7. You know they're coming out with McKinley getting the ball. You got to get back to what got you here. You got to get back to the athleticism, making the plays, stepping up, getting those stops. Unfortunately, McKinley able to find some people in space on that last drive there. Just a big play, 2 big plays really just define this half for the McKinley Bulldogs.
Mankowski on to do the kicking chores once again for the Bulldogs. Mankowski, a Canton McKinley sophomore. Harding's deep backs are lined up at about the 20. They're not expecting anything very deep off this kickoff. And
looks like possibly the hands team out there. They're looking for a possible squib or maybe even the traditional onside kick.
And it's a little pop-up. And there's a big hole up the middle. Eris Coleman Bay. He's going to take this all the way to the house. It's going to be a touchdown, Harding. And Harding has fought their way back into this game with 9 seconds to play in the first half.
What a change of a situation there. Something that we've seen happen to Harding last year. Look, low kick. Kick team does not get the time to get down there and get in their coverage. They broke their lanes. Eris Coleman Bay was able to find that crack, get up the field, make this a brand new game going into halftime. How many times last year, Tom, did we see something like that happen against the Raiders? Eris Coleman Bay, talked about him earlier, not going to find a harder worker, not going to find a better kid. He's out there. You got to get air under the ball. You got to give your guys time to get down there, set their lanes, get in position. Low kick, line drive. Eris was able to take it. Guys weren't in position. He found that seam. The rest of it was blocking and pure speed up the middle.
And the kick by Jake Dory is up and good. And again, we have a tie ball game with 9 seconds to play in the first half.
That was huge, Tom. That is a momentum changer. Harding was going into the locker room upset, gave up that late touchdown. Big play at the goal line. We're able to punch it in for 2. You started to see a little on the sideline. You started to see some of those heads start to go down. Eris Coleman Bay, the kickoff return team, answers with a quick 7 to tie this game up with 9 seconds left.
And now just what you talked about, it is exactly what Harding has to do. Jake's got to get up there, get some air on that ball, give his men time to get down there and cover this, and get into the locker rooms with this tie ball game.
Kicking off for Harding, number 12, Jake Doherty. Back for the Bulldogs,
You know, I think it was that Ursuline game last year that went back and forth, just a track meet. I mean, I think it was upper 40s, 50s. And, you know, Harding had battled back, and just, you know, that it was a line drive kick down to that near sideline right there that was returned for the touchdown that ended it for us. But what a great sequence of events there. Let's see what Jake's going to do with this ball here. 9 seconds left to go in the first half.
And a squib kick taken by Xavier Harris. Harris going to the far sideline. Harris with a little bit of room. But he's going to be dragged down at about the 40-yard line, and that's going to run out the first half. And Harding, off the big kickoff return by Eris Coleman Bay, goes into the locker room, tied at 14.
Look forward to what they've got in the second half. Looks like they got it. I think they're going to put a second back on the clock. I thought they let that run.
I did look at the clock, and that second was up there when he was down. So we're gonna run off one more play. Looks like they're giving him 2 seconds. So.
And that looks to be fair. I'm looking down the way here. We're up in the booth, and I see a couple Harding guys down there. It looks like they try to keep that clock running.
Nice try, fellas. Nice try over there.
Expect McKinley just to come out here. I don't know if they'll take a chance and try to throw a Hail Mary at this point. Don't want to risk any type of injury before the half. You got your 14-14 tie game. You're going to come out here in the second half and start it all over again.
Well, they're certainly not lined up in a kneeling formation. He's sending 4 people out to his left. That includes Dante McClellan over here. Keaton Road, he's got 2 receivers. They got 6 receivers. There's a flag down. And
looks
that's
like
going to be
legal formation, legal procedure.
Maybe. They got 6 people in the formation, 6 people in the pattern.
On the offense.
Maybe one too many or not enough people up on that line, one or the other.
Canton called a timeout prior to the flag being
change that
thrown.
to a timeout for Canton McKinley. So McKinley's definitely going to try to do something with these 2 seconds. They're not going to be content with taking a knee and getting into the locker room. They want to make something happen here. So the defense for 2 more seconds has to be on its toes as we get ready to go into halftime.
It's a big pass there. You're looking at 50-plus yards. You know, when the quarterback drops back, this is where you want to watch that old hook and ladder. That hook and ladder right now, McKinley's got some speed on the other side. Watch them hook up quick with that toss to the outside, see if they can get their burners up the sideline.
Now, Kickoff really has this home crowd back into this football game, which is always nice to see. There's, you know, you get that Harding crowd, and they get excited. They make a lot of noise, and you know, that generates down those players on the field. You felt it before, Ed. I felt it. You know what it's like when you got those people behind you. It is a rush, and you feel like you can. You can run through walls when you get that going on.
Well, especially playing at a place like this, Mollenkopf, and playing a team like McKinley. I mean, 2 historic teams here, you know, and they're definitely giving the fans their money's worth.
McKinley with 4 receivers over there to the right. Rhodes steps back. He's under a lot of pressure. He's going to just dump it out of bounds, and now that will do it for the first half. And again, we are tied 14-14 off that tremendous Eris Coleman Bay kickoff return for a touchdown to tie this ball game with 9 seconds to go in the half. That'll do it for the first half. We're going to leave you guys in the capable hands of the Canton McKinley band, and then you'll see the Harding band, and Eddie and I are going to be back with the second half in about 20 minutes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Canton Senior School District and McKinley Senior High School proudly presents the pride of Canton, Ohio, the Canton McKinley Bulldog Marching Band. as American musician, singer, band leader, and record producer. His Parliament Funkadelic Collective developed an influential, eclectic form of funk music during the 1970s. On science fiction, outlandish fashion, and surreal humor. He launched his solo career in 1982 with the album Computer Games, and would go on to influence much of the 1990s hip-hop and G-funk. He's regarded along with James Brown and Sly Stone as one of the foremost innovators of funk music, and has introduced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997, along with 15 other members of Parliament Funkadelic. Join the Bulldog Band as they bring out the dog in you to this 1982 George Clinton hit, Atomic Dog. Made popular by the Barbie movie, we close our performance this evening with one of the hits of the summer by Dua Lipa, Dance the Night.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we present the 2023 Raider Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Reed Young and Heather Cerny. Summer assistants include John Fitch, Kaylee Hall, Kristen Richter, Melanie Vlad, and Antoine Howard. Our major ed instructors are Marissa Welke and Gabby Jones. Flagline instructors are Celeste Harris and Mariah Coker. Percussion instructors are Brian Young and George Pringle. The band is led onto the field by field commanders William Harris, Amari Jackson, Zayshawn Poole, and head drummer Elise Vaughn. And is proud to present our 2023 show titled Empowered, as we feature a variety of hit songs that we know you'll enjoy, with soloists Sarah Bell, Michaela Eisenberg, and Chris Cox. Here is Shine Down. Up next, the 2003 hit by the Queen Bee herself. Our majorettes and flagline are featured as we perform Crazy in Love. The Raider Band is on the move with the 2002 hit from the South Korean K-pop group Stray Kids. Here is All In. The Raider Band would like to thank all of you for being a wonderful audience tonight. Now join us as we cheer our Raider team. There they go, ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 WGH Raider Marching Band!
It don't show no more breaks. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Might be some rubber on the back. I think that's a but don't go no higher.
Welcome back, Raider Nation. We're getting ready to start the second half. Got a couple minutes to go. Teams are out there doing their halftime warm-ups. Hope you enjoyed the halftime presentations by the Canton McKinley Band and then our own Warren Harding Raider Marching Band. We have a 14-14 tie right now. First half that started out what some may consider a little bit slow, with Canton holding on to a 6-0 lead through most of that first half. And then through the second part of the second quarter, the fireworks started. Harding scores on a run by Ryan Powell, take a 7-6 lead. A little bit later than that, Canton McKinley comes down. Big pass play to Xavier Harris for a touchdown. Late in the first half with 30 seconds to go, looked like McKinley was going to take that lead into the halftime. They get the ball to start the first half. Momentum was all on that Canton McKinley sideline. And then thunder struck as Eris Coleman Bay took the ensuing kickoff about 70 yards for a Harding touchdown. The Jake Doherty kick tied it all up at 14, and that's where we stand at the start of the second half. McKinley will start off with the football, and Eddie, I tell you, couldn't get much more exciting in those last couple seconds of the first half.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. You know, we open up the high school football season week 1 here at Mollenkopf Stadium, not really knowing what to expect. We knew we had a team that's going to come in with a lot of experience. We've been watching the sophomores get some experience in the previous years. Now the juniors getting experience as sophomores, now seniors. We knew that they should be poised. The question was, were they going to be able to put it together? New quarterback coming in and Drew McCown replacing the great Dallas Jet from last year. A new addition to the running game with Antonio Smith. And we saw a lot of fight. We saw a lot of heart. As you said, Tom, right before the half, we saw some repetitives of last year's 2-8 season where they gave up that touchdown right before the half. But, you know, no quitting this team with just a few seconds left on the clock. Easily could have just taken it into the half. Eris Coleman Bay turned on the Jets, hit the seam, up the middle of the hash marks, was able to get it in the end zone to tie it up. You saw just the deflation of the stadium. And when Eris took that ball straight up the field like that, you saw the life come back in. You got a 14-14 game. As you said, McKinley's going to start out with the ball, going to get that Harding defense back out on the field. That 3-man front has been able to confuse the offense over there with those 4 linebackers coming from different angles. Really been able to confuse this McKinley offense to keep them in this game 14-14. Look for big things to come out of both sides of the ball of the Raiders this second half.
One down note from the first half. Nehemiah Alexander went down to an injury early in the ball game. He's got the pads off. He's on the sidelines on crutches. I did spy him just a couple minutes ago walking, kind of alternating with the crutches, without the crutches. So hopefully that's something that's not too serious, and we'll see him next week when the Raiders travel to Akron to face Buchtel.
Yeah, I was able to watch him during the preseason, checked out a couple practices, and I'm going to tell you, that kid is heart and soul of this team. I mean, he's all gas, no break, but he's just a great leader out there on the field. Senior, got a lot of time last year. Looking for some big things from him coming into this season. So hopefully this is something that he can shake off. Don't want to, you know, if you got to sit him for this game, you got to sit him. You don't want to lose him for the rest of the season. But he is a big piece to this Harding Raiders puzzle.
Jake Doherty on to get the second half underway. Xavier Harris, number 4, and Shakir Hatcher, number 6. They are the deep backs for the Canton McKinley Bulldogs to start the second half off. And the second half is underway, and kind of another squib rolling type kick. That's picked up by Xavier Harris. Harris heading for the far sideline, trying to turn a corner, and now he's reversing his field. Out to the 40-yard line. There's a flag on the play, and the ball is loose, out of bounds. The Raiders had him shut down on the far sideline. He reversed his field, almost broke it open, dropped the ball, but there is a flag on the play. There's probably in the neighborhood of some sort of illegal block on that return team. We'll see what the call is.
Either a hold or a block in the back.
During the return, holding, number 18, return team. 10 yards from the spot.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold there, a lot of running.
Down.
Not going to amount to a lot there, but when you see that reversal of field like that, that's when you end up seeing a lot of those flags come in for those blocks in the back. Either way, we'll take a great way for the Harding Raiders to start out. Going to push them back here inside the, looks like inside the, about the 25-yard line.
And that is exactly where the Bulldogs are going to start this second half. 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Keaton Road, the quarterback for McKinley, brings his offense back out in the field. Keith Quincy coming down here to the near sideline, and he's got number 12, Nino Hill. We haven't seen him yet tonight. Nino Hill, the 1,000-yard rusher from last season for Canton McKinley. He's down in the backfield to start this third quarter. And Nino Hill gets the call early, up the middle for about 4 or 5 yards, out to about the 30, 31-yard line.
Was really surprised that McKinley got away from the run game in the first half. Real big up front. Was really surprised they started to go away from that. They seemed like they had that size advantage and it was working for them in the beginning, but they got away from it, and that's when Harding was really able to get that defense set in with the confusion that they were able to bring with that 4 linebacker set.
And this time Road looks over the middle. He finds Dante McClellan for a big gain down to about the Raider 41-yard line.
You know, first half they were fighting. They were able to find some holes in that cover 2 back there. Once again, the offense of McKinley was able to exploit it for a big gain. Going to bring them inside the Raider territory.
And you got to keep tabs on Dante McClellan. That's a young man who's getting more than his fair share of letters from D1 universities, looking for a guy with his talent. 1st and 10, McKinley. And this time Road keeps it after the fake to Hill. He's going to pick up about 4 or 5 more, and the McKinley offense is on the move early in this second half. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 6 at the Harding 37-yard line.
Yeah, design QB run there. We've watched all night where Keaton Road has been able to pick up some yards with his legs when that pocket breaks down. Once again, able to turn something into nothing for a gain of 4.
McClellan and Harris up on the top. Quincy, Ferguson on this side. Nino Hill in the backfield, and Nino Hill gets the call again. And Hill is going to bull his way ahead for a 1st down inside the Harding 30-yard line. That's going to be enough to move the chains for the Bulldogs.
Looked like on that, Edwards, senior offensive lineman, looked like that right tackle came and pulled, led the way for the running back there for a nice gain to move the sticks.
First and 10 at the Harding 30-yard line. Road getting the signals from that McKinley sideline. And there's the give again to Nino Hill. Hill around that left corner. Hill down to the 20-yard line, close to another. Canton McKinley, 1st down.
Looked like just repeated the same play again, pulling those tackles. Follow the tackles. If you go have your linebackers, watch the tackles. They're taking you to the play.
And Hill got enough to move the chains. It's 1st and 10 McKinley at the Harding 20. And there's passes complete to Quincy out on this near sideline. He's going to get it inside the 5-yard line. That's going to be a 1st and goal for the Bulldogs.
A nice change of pace for the offense there. Quick hitter. Looks like he just came on that nice little hitch. Soft coverage. Corner was playing back, gave him some space. Able to make the catch, get a good 5-6 yards after it. Going to put him 1st and goal inside the 5.
And they give us to Nino Hill. Hill getting around that corner. And Hill will just get inside that corner for the Bulldog touchdown. And Canton McKinley very quickly to start this second half has taken it downfield and now have taken a 20-14 lead. The extra point attempt coming up.
Tom, very similar to what we saw in the first half in McKinley's drive in which they scored their first touchdown. A nice mix of run and pass, able to really power up front with that running game, 4, 5, 6 yards at a time. You started getting the linebackers and everyone kind of, you know, looking for the run, and as soon as they started looking for the run, they were able to hit those soft passes to the outside to keep the chains moving. Ended up being a pretty easy drive for McKinley. Defense obviously has to tighten up on this next series.
And Mollenkopf on again for the extra point, and this time he just gets it up and through. Extra point's good. McKinley takes a 21-14 lead over the Raiders with 9:22 to play in the third quarter. Big part of that drive was number 12, Nino Hill, the junior, rushed for 1,000 yards as a sophomore. Didn't see him in the first half, but he has certainly made his presence known to open up the second half.
Yeah, we talked about the size advantage that we saw, you know, just as we were watching the pregame, just looking at the guys up front in the trenches for McKinley. Obviously, that on that drive right there, they were just able to turn around, hand that ball off, use that size, push the defensive line back. Linebackers weren't able to get any penetration. They were knocking off 4 or 5 yards at a time, and then, you know, the passing game was complimentary. Just too easy of a drive right there. Obviously, Harding's got to tighten it up. Got an opportunity here to answer with the offense, and Harris Coleman Bay going back deep for this kickoff.
Harris Coleman Bay, and also looks like number 6, DeAndre Thomas back there on the other side. And I'd be hard-pressed to think that McKinley is going to put the ball anywhere near Harris Coleman Bay again. So we'll probably, I would think we'll see that kick come to this side of the field, if we see it get back there at all.
Yeah, they're playing relatively short. They know something. They've been watching the films. Not sure if their kicker's got the leg to really get it to the end zone.
Mollenkopf, the sophomore for McKinley, back doing the kicking chores. And he kicks another line drive right at Harris Coleman Bay. He bobbles it. Bay up the middle again. Bay with room again. Still on his feet. Outside the 35-yard line, and a good return for Harris Coleman Bay. The Raiders are going to start the 36-yard line, and that was awful close to being broken again.
Yeah, nice little shifty run here by Harris. Thought we were going to get the replay there, but no, a quick bobble, but he was able to recover. He was able to recover the ball, get upfield, and then make a couple guys miss. Had the fans starting to stand up on their feet, but that's going to give the Raiders, once again, with pretty good field position at their own 37-yard line.
It's going to be important for that Raider offense to get something going early in the second half. Took them a while to get going in the first half. Hopefully the momentum that they had going there carries over to right now and keep moving the football.
Coming out with Ryan Powell. This is more their power back. Let's see what they choose to do here.
That was McCoy in motion. Powell with the handoff. He's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and stood up right there. He might have gotten 1 yard out of that play. There's a helmet on the field, so it looks like Ryan Powell may have to take a seat for a play.
Yeah, Powell's going to have to sit out. It looks like they're bringing in Jones, number 5, for his first action of the night in the backfield.
3 receivers split out to the left. Drew McCowan in a quarterback. McCowan looking left. McCowan under a lot of pressure. McCowan is going to be sacked inside the 30-yard line. A big loss for that Raider offense. All the way back to the 30. That's going to bring up about a second down and 18 or 19 yards.
You see, he's got the time.
Or third down, I should say.
That pocket did start to collapse around him, but it looks like Drew did have the time, just couldn't identify the receiver. We'll call that a coverage sack.
3rd and 17, back at the Raider 30-yard line. And Powell drops back once again. This time he gets the pass off. And that ball is almost picked off by Keith Quincy. The Raider receiver had to turn into a defensive back there very quick. Quincy took a shot to the back, and he's not getting up very quickly. Donovan McCoy, the intended receiver, and McCoy did a good job just to help avert the turnover. Quincy had his hands on it, and now he's down. He was hit hard in the back on that play, so hopefully the young man is okay. Get him off the field and hopefully see him back soon for Canton McKinley.
Yeah, took a pretty big shot to the hip there by Donovan McCoy, but as you said, he was the quarterback's best friend on that play because that looked like that was going to be an interception. Like the idea, take your speedster down the seam, see if he can get behind the defense, but safety did his job, stayed deeper than the deepest receiver, put himself in perfect position to make the play. The offensive player came through, though, did his job, was able to break that up. It's going to bring on Jake Doherty here for a long 4th and 17 punt.
And much like the first possession of the game for Harding, a 3 and out. It is 4th and 17. Doherty on to do the punting.
That's we'll say a peculiar timeout.
McKinley timeout.
4th and 17, and McKinley's burning one. We'll see if in this 7-point game, if that ends up coming back to haunt them later in the game.
8:10 remaining in the third quarter. Canton has gone on top 21-14, taking the opening second half kickoff and driving 75 yards for the go-ahead score. Harding with a 3 and out possession, and now Jake Doherty is forced to punt. He's lining up on his own 16-yard line. That's number 4, Xavier Harris for the Bulldogs. He's the deep man.
Just got that off.
Spiraling punt, and that
Nice
takes
bounce.
a Harding bounce, and Xavier Harris fields it. He was touched, but now he's broken loose, and he's got some yards. He's going to be hit around the 32-yard line. Had a hand on him back there, but he broke loose, got it out to 32. That was a pretty courageous play there by Harris. I'm surprised he got that one, but he made it work out for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was a big bounce, and if he wouldn't have caught it on the second bounce, that ball would have still been going down inside the 10-yard line. Able to pick it up, use that speed. Able to use his speed and break that tackle. And
it looks like a Canton McKinley ball player is down over there. That could be Xavier Harris at the end of that play, not getting up quickly. And the way they're stretching that leg out, that could be a cramp over there. I see them holding that leg up.
yeah, it looks like it's a cramp. He's going to get up here and come off the field. We should see that young man back in the night. You were correct. That was Xavier Harris that they were working on the sidelines there. But if you watch this replay here, you see if he doesn't get it on that bounce, that's bouncing inside the 10-yard line. Smart play, courageous play by Xavier Harris. Way to take something that could have been disastrous and turn it into something positive for the Bulldogs.
1st and 10. Canton McKinley at their own 32-yard line. And now it's going to be up to the defense again, much like it was the first half, to stop this McKinley offense before they really get rolling. Keep the Raiders in it until they get the ball back. There's the give again to Nino Hill. Nino Hill gets it out to about the 37, 38-yard line, picks up a gain of 5 or 6 around that left corner.
Yeah, Nino Hill with great vision there. Whole left side opened up. He looked like he wanted to take that through something like the 5 hole, was able to pop that out to the 7th hole outside, able to get himself a nice 6-yard gain.
You're starting to see why this young man gained over 1,000 yards rushing last year in his sophomore season. Keith Quincy down here on the near sideline. You have Dante McClellan up on top alongside Jordan McElroy. Dino Hill once again, this time up the middle. He's going to get the first down on that play. Gets up to about the 45-yard line. We're going to be 1st and 10, Canton McKinley.
Yeah, right now, McKinley just using that size up front, winning the battle in the trenches, pushing that defensive line back 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, continuing to move the sticks, continuing to keep that clock running.
And Nino Hill is a big running back, folks. He is 6 foot, 215 pounds, so that young man is a load to bring down. And he's gotten the lion's share of the work so far in this third quarter for Canton McKinley. And this time Road keeps it over the middle to McClellan. And McClellan down to about the Harding 32, 33-yard line. Just another first down, Canton McKinley.
Looks like they got a legal man downfield. They're going to bring that back. A lot of cushion, a good 12-yard cushion given by the safety covering that slot receiver. Quarterback was able to see that quickly and hit him with that, hit him in the open space there. But it's all coming back for a legal man downfield.
So a break for the Raider defense. That's going to move the ball back. Back to the McKinley 40-yard line. That will bring up a first down and 15 on the 5-yard penalty.
If you look to the high side, a lot of cushion being given to those receivers. It's almost like Harding's trying to bait them into throwing the ball with all the cushion that they're giving the wide receivers.
Road back to pass. He's looking for McClellan, being chased out of the pocket by this near sideline. He'll get about 3 or 4 on that play, bring up a second down and 11 or 12 yards to go.
Great pursuit by the defense there. Looks like that's going to be held to about a gain of 2, but great pursuit by that quick, fast front 3 for the Harding defense.
Brings up a second down and 13 for the Canton McKinley Bulldogs. Xavier Harris back in the game. Nino Hill splits out along with McClellan over on the other side.
Again, a lot of cushion to the high side.
Road back to pass. He's sending people deep. They got a hand on back there, but Road breaks loose, and now he's got a big gain, close to a first down. There's a flag on the play, and a Raider defensive player
like that's
down.
Powell. Can't tell if that was a knee, but they're coming out.
They had a hand on Keaton Road deep in the backfield. He shook it off.
And that was Powell that got in there with the pressure. Been saying his name all night on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Let's hope this is just something that he can shake off and get back into the game. Yep, they're getting him up right now.
He's up right away.
You know, a lot of times, Tom, you feel that knee, you feel that, and it scares you. You know, you feel it, and it just it scares you. You go down, and all of a sudden you're okay. I'm good. I'm good. And so, luckily, don't want to see anybody get hurt, but definitely don't want to see anybody get hurt in the first week of the season, especially somebody with the potential of Ryan Powell and what he means to this team.
And that was a holding call on Canton McKinley, so that's going to back them up even further. So again, another little break for the Raider defense. That's going to bring up a second down and 19. The Raiders need to force a punt or some sort of turnover at this point, get the offense back out on the field. Up to this point so far in the third quarter, it seemed like the Bulldogs have had all the cogs going in tune with each other on this offense. You got Nino Hill running the ball. They've been hitting Dante McClellan. Now Nino Hill splits out down on this near side along with Keith Quincy. Dante McClellan up on top. Those are the guys to look out for. It is second down and 19. Road back to pass. Over the middle, looking for Quincy. Overthrows him. That's going to bring up a third down and 19. And a big third down play for the first time in this half for the Raider defense, trying to get that ball back, get the offense back out on the field.
All night, McKinley's been trying to exploit that soft middle of this cover 2 defense. That time just a little bit overthrown.
Third and 19. This time Nino Hill comes back in a running back position. He sets up to Keaton Rhodes' left. That's McClellan and Harris up on the top on the high side. Ferguson and Quincy, they are down here on the near side for Canton McKinley. And the handoff is to Hill. They're trying to run for this. Hill's got an opening. Hill gets it up to the 50-yard line, and that makes it fourth and about 5. So fourth and a whole lot more manageable than 19 was. But they're going to bring the punting unit back out. Canton McKinley has been reluctant to go for anything on fourth down the whole ball game. They bring the punting unit back out. So Harding forces a punt. They're going to get the offense back out on the field. So the defense steps up one more time for the Raiders. And a low line drive kick, and Harris Coleman Bay is going to let that go. And that is going to go all the way down to the 1 yard line. The Raiders are going to be forced with a 99-yard field to try to get back in this ball game. And it wasn't a pretty punt, but boy, was it effective.
Yeah, difficult position for Harris Coleman Bay there. I think we could be fair to say that was a bad punt. You know, you want to try to get in front of that. You want to try to, you know, knock that, get that, stop that ball before it gets that roll to it. But, you know, just a tough position. You try to get in front of something like that could easily end up being a muffed punt. And then instead of you having the ball at your own 1 yard line, now McKinley's got the ball at the 1 yard line looking to go up 14.
They're getting shorthanded on the infield right there. Step in front of that and have that ball bounce off your hands. It was taking McKinley bounces, but they were certainly not even-handed bounces.
Now, and you see Ryan Powell coming back on the field here. They're going to need him. They need to get out of the back of this end zone, need about 4 or 5 yards to give the quarterback a little bit of breathing room to make him feel comfortable to drop back and start to look at this defense.
So a good defensive stand by Harding, aided by a couple of McKinley penalties, and it is first down Harding at their own 1. And it looked like McCowan kept that, and he moved the pile ahead a few yards, so Harding has a little bit of breathing room down there. They get it out to about the, looks like the 4 or 5 yard line.
Yeah, they got Drew listed at 6'3". He's got some size to him. Last year, started at outside linebacker, obviously not afraid to take some hits, lower his shoulders and get his team a couple yards, get him some breathing room, be able to open up the playbook a little bit for the offense.
Makes it second down and 6 for the Raiders at their own 5 yard line. And there's the handoff up the middle, and that's going to be out. Looks like close to a first down. I think that was
that 5.
I think that was Javonte Jones. Nice little run there, and Harding moves the chains. Gets it out to about the 10 yard line, and all of a sudden Harding has some breathing room. Get it out to the 11 yard line. That's what they needed to get for the first down. And there's the give again to Jones. Jones trying to get around that end. Fights ahead for maybe 1 or 2.
See Antonio Smith on the sideline right now. We saw him go down earlier. Looked like he was going to be able to come back in. I saw him doing some sprints up and down the sidelines, but it looks like they may have wanted to shut him down for the night, make sure they could save him for the remainder of the season.
Low snap, and again the handoff is to Jones, and this time Jones is not going to shake off the defender. I thought that was a ball loose. I think it was Jones' shoe over there, but at any rate, it's going to be a loss. It's going to bring up a third down and long from deep inside Raider territory. They're spotting him at the 9 yard line. That's going to make it about third down and 11. Third?
12 it looks like.
Yep.
That's where McCown's got to be careful back here. McKinley with a 3-man front. Only bringing 3, giving him time.
McCown's going to tuck it. He'll get a couple yards, but just past the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up about a 4th down and 9, and Jake Doherty is going to have to come back out and punt from his own goal line.
You know, I think Drew did the right thing there. They only rushed 3, dropped 7. You know, that's what we talked about, being careful. A lot of defenders back there in coverage. Obviously, don't want to take the chance of throwing the interception in this position deep in your own territory. Let Jake get a good kickoff here and give that defense something to work with.
Xavier Harris back once again to receive the punt for Canton McKinley. Jake Doherty on to do the punting for the Raiders. And this time Jake gets off a high spiraling kick. That is hit and dropped. It's on the ground. Harris picks it up though. There's a flag on the play. Harris gets it back to about the 37-yard line of Harding. There is a flag on the play. Harris bobbled that one.
It's like a block in the back. Let's see what they got.
We'll wait for the official's call here. He's mic'd up. And there you have it, a block in the back. They're calling that on Demir McClellan.
I believe that's from the spot of the foul, so that's going to back the Bulldogs up into their own territory on the other side of the 50 here. Great punt by Jake to get him out of that hole.
Penalty backs the Bulldogs up to their own 44-yard line. 1:21 to go in the third quarter. A one-score ball game with Canton McKinley on top 21-14. They took the opening kickoff and drove it downfield.
Looking for that defense to step up again.
And Nino Hill has pretty much been the only running back we've seen in the second half of McKinley, and he gets the ball once again. And he has broken through the line of scrimmage. There is a flag back there, and that could be a hold on McKinley after about a 13-yard run by Nino Hill.
It's like Braden Early. Follow Braden Early, 74, right tackle. Wherever he goes, that's where the ball's going.
And that's who they've called the penalty on. It's going to back up McKinley another 10 yards, give them a 1st and 20 back at their own 34-yard line. And the defense is going to have to start bottling up Nino Hill a little bit. He's been running at will since the start of the half.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of these penalties. Holding penalties are drive killers. You know, you get a nice run like that, gets called back, just demoralizes the offense. Once again, 74
Nino Hill
pulling.
Up the middle.
Yep.
Hill gets it out to about the 39-yard line. That's going to bring up about a 2nd down and 15, maybe a 2nd down and 16 from the 38. Second and 16 at the McKinley 38-yard line.
Watch that far side tackle, 74. Braden Early. He's going to take you to the ball.
And again, the handoff to Nino Hill. And this time, Nino Hill is stacked up at the line of scrimmage, falls ahead for maybe a yard or two. And that brings up another 3rd down and long. And yet another big play for this Raider defense. They need to stop the Bulldogs right here and force them into another punting situation.
Soon Canton's going to take this into the 4th quarter and think about it as the clock winds down.
And that is the end of the third quarter, end of the third quarter with your score, the Canton McKinley Bulldogs 21, your Harding Raiders 14. We're going to come back in the 4th quarter. McKinley will be facing a 3rd down and long from their own 40-yard line when we start the 4th quarter.
Harding able to keep himself in the game after that first drive. McKinley really just having their way with that Raider defense with the running and the passing game. But once again, similar to what we saw in the first half, you know, we talk about the bend don't break. You know, they gave up that quick touchdown in the first possession of McKinley, but since then they've been able to hold McKinley to a stalemate. They're going to come back out here with a good opportunity at 3rd and 14 to be able to hold this offense, get them off the field, get the defense off the field, and get the Raider offense back on the field. We've seen a lot of different things from the Raiders, you know, from the running game to the passing game, but once again, that third aspect of the game, special teams, has came up huge for the Raiders with that kick return from Harris Coleman Bay. Just looking for a spark somewhere, and it's going to start right here with this 3rd and 14.
Once again, live from Mollenkopf Stadium, it is the first game of the 2023 season, the fastest 10 weeks in sports, folks. And here we go at the start of the 4th quarter. It is a 3rd and 14 play for the McKinley Bulldogs at their own 40-yard line.
Raiders look like they're only rushing 3.
And they give us to Nino Hill up the middle. He's got some room. Hill's going to get the first down and a lot more. Takes it outside, and there's a late hit. That was a careless play. That's going to tack 15 more onto an already big play for the McKinley Bulldogs.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, those are the type of plays that you just can't have at this juncture of the game. You know, they had the first down. I know it's frustrating. You know, you come off of that, you come off of the quarter there, over on the sideline. Coaches are talking to you. You know your assignment. You know what you need to do. And for them to run the ball on a 3rd and 14, get it. But then to add insult to injury with that, with the late hit out of bounds, going to put McKinley in great field position here right outside the 20-yard line.
Now McKinley with a 1st and 10 at the Raider 22-yard line.
Looks like they're trying to get the stick set up on the sideline there. I think you're going to see a big dose of Nino Hill here, big number 12.
Six foot, 215-pound junior running back. 1,000-yard rusher last year, and it has been pretty much all Nino Hill in this second half of the McKinley Bulldogs.
They like to run behind the right tackle. Watch where he goes.
This time Rode keeps it, and Rode gets up the middle for a lot of yards. Rode's going to get down there close to another first down. He gets about 7 or 8 yards. And now it's getting a little chippy down there. Not sure.
I think we called that in basketball a flop.
More a couple of people off balance as opposed to somebody getting a little excited. Right. That brings up a 2nd down and short, 2nd and 3 at the Raider 15-yard line, and now the load is squarely on the back of that Raider defense to try to keep this game close, give the offense a chance to get back into it. 2-score differential at this point. It's going to make it awful difficult. And there's Nino Hill once again, and Hill inside the 5-yard line, or maybe right at the 5-yard line. That'll bring up a 1st and goal for Canton McKinley. And the Raiders just really have not been able to solve the puzzle of Nino Hill so far in this second half. We didn't see him at all in the first half, but he has been a difference maker in this second half. And there he is again, up to about the 2 or 3 yard line, 2nd and goal.
You know, Tom, you're seeing a lot of penetration, exactly what Coach Arnold wants from this fast, quick defense. You see a lot of penetration coming, but you're just not seeing those shoulder pads getting on Nino Hill. You're seeing a lot of arms being extended, and he's able, with that big body of 215 pounds, to just run through those arm tackles to get positive yardage on the carries.
Nino Hill again, he's going to bounce it outside, and Nino Hill is going to take that one in for the McKinley score. And now McKinley is going to take a 27-14 lead over the Raiders with 10:30 to play. Yeah. Mollenkopf out to attempt the extra point.
Yeah, great block by the left tackle there to seal the defensive end there. Once he got that seal there, it was just a walk in the park for Nino Hill over the left-hand side.
Mollenkopf gets that kick up, and it looks like, nope.
No good.
A little bit wide left, it appears. That's going to keep the score at 27-14. Canton McKinley with the lead at 10:30 to play in the ball game.
We got a lot of time left here in the 4th quarter, 10 minutes, 30 seconds left. Talk about the, you know, there's ways to win games. You know, you either need a defense that can hold the other team to minimal points. You need an offense that can sustain 10, 12, 15 play drives to score, or you need athletes. You need quick hitters. You need individuals that can score from anywhere on the field. Harding absolutely has the athletes to score from anywhere on the field. All it's going to take is a quick slant, something. Get one of these athletes in the open field, make one guy miss, use that speed, get upfield. This game could change very quickly.
.10:30 to play in the ball game. We are awaiting the Canton McKinley kickoff after that latest score.
Yeah, surprisingly, we've seen a lot of discord in the McKinley special teams. Some difficulties with their punts, getting the punts off with the snaps. I believe that is the second. I think one was blocked. That was the second. That was the first miss. But great opportunity here for the special teams if Harding can take advantage of it.
Looks like DeAndre Thomas and Donovan McCoy are the deep backs for the Raiders on this kickoff. McCoy, the speedster from the track team. That's certainly a young man who can get it moving quickly. And we have a different kicker for the Bulldogs. That looks like number 31, Daniel Akpolo.
Got to get on there. It's a live
this is
ball.
McCoy. And McCoy's going to be met at about the 31-yard line. I think that's where his progress is going to be marked, 31, 32-yard line. That's where Harding's going to set up 1st and 10.
They'll give him a great opportunity there. You know, my coaches used to tell me all the time, it's not about the play, it's about the player. And so you always want to make sure you've got the ball in the hands of your playmakers. You've got 10:22 left, down 2 scores. We'll see if Harding can make that missed field goal come back to haunt the McKinley Bulldogs.
And that's DeAndre Jones remaining in the backfield alongside Drew McCowan. McCowan looks over here. He finds Najee Jones. Jones breaks one tackle. Jones has broken a tackle. Jones is loose down the sidelines, all the way down to the Canton McKinley 22-yard line. And that is exactly what Warren Harding needed.
Absolutely, Tom. We talked about it just a minute ago. It's not about the play, it's a player. Quick little hitch to the outside. Get the ball in the hand of your athletes. They can make somebody miss and get upfield using that speed.
1st and 10, Harding at the McKinley 23. And there's another complete pass on the far sideline, down to about the 15-yard line.
Keep on working the space. Keep on working those sidelines.
Number 8, Kamari Adams on that reception.
Great recovery by Drew there. Quick back up to the line. Looks like some communication issues.
2nd down and 3 at the McKinley 16-yard line. The Raiders are threatening. And there's a handoff up the middle to Jones. He gets it inside the 15.
Not bad. That's going to be short. Look like that's going to bring up about a 3rd and 1. Maybe 3rd and 1. Now remember, Drew's shown the ability to run the ball. He's got that 6'3" frame. Not afraid to lower his shoulder and get some yards.
3rd and 1 for the Raiders. And that's Jones again up the middle. I'm not sure he got there on that one. It's going to be a little bit short, and a huge play for the Raiders coming up right now. It is 4th and 1 with 9 minutes and counting.
Yeah, no question. You got to go for it here. That 3 points means nothing. This is where you'd like to see Ryan Powell, and you see him coming back onto the field.
Plenty of time on the play clock, but
this might be
get
something.
These gentlemen in position. Let's go.
It's a pretty big play. They're getting down into under 15 seconds. We'll see if Coach Arnold's comfortable with this or if he was going to call a timeout. Looks like he's ready to rock and roll.
Got some big guys in there. You got Ryan Powell in the backfield.
Oh.
And Ryan Powell went one way. Drew McCowan turned the other way.
You know, you could tell there was some communication issues. That's why I questioned. I thought Coach Arnold was going to call timeout. Looks like they thought they had everything figured out. Unfortunately, some miscommunication in the backfield is going to end up in a turnover for the Raiders.
Looked like Powell went left, McCowan turned right, and everything came crashing down, and it's going to be Canton McKinley football at their own 20-yard line. So again, it's up to the defense to get a stop, get the ball back in the hands of that Raider offense as quickly as possible. Big opportunity squandered right there.
Yeah, and it's tough too. You know, McKinley's starting to impose their will with that offensive line, as we've seen the last couple possessions with 8:24 left. Harding's got all their timeouts. High school, obviously, the clock's going to stop on a first down or incompletes and when the ball goes out of bounds. But I expect nothing but them to turn around and hand that ball to Nino Hill to try to run some clock off right now.
And there's a flag on the play.
It's going to be on a sideline warning.
Sideline warning on Harding. I think you're going to see a lot of Nino Hill on this drive. Well, there it was, yep. And Nino Hill has broken it loose. Nino Hill looks like he's going to take this one. And he's forced out of bounds all the way down inside the Harding 15-yard line.
Got some penetration from the left side of the line there. Wasn't able to get to the running back in time. Nino Hill with that big body showed some speed there to break off a big run for the Bulldogs and put it inside the red zone here with about 8:13 left in the fourth.
First and 10, Canton balls at the Harding 15-yard line.
Huge play for the McKinley Bulldog offense. Nino Hill up that left sideline.
Give Raylan Weaver a lot of credit there, junior. Not giving up on the play. Anything can happen here. You just saw
Nino Hill again, and this time Nino Hill is stopped after about a 2, maybe 3-yard gain. Should bring him about a second down and 7 from the 12-yard line.
Nino Hill.
seeing some emotion start to take over down there. Officials are going to call a timeout, have a conversation, make sure nothing gets out of hand here. You've had an excellent game thus far. You want to finish it the same way you started.
Gain of 1 brings up second down and 9.
They're calling out just a short gain of maybe 2 yards. They got spotted at about the 13-yard line, so that's a second down and 8 play upcoming for Canton McKinley.
Clock is stopped with the officials' timeout.
They may be giving Nino Hill a breather. They've got Shakir Hatcher in the backfield alongside Keaton Road right now. Looks like the officials are talking to the captains of both sides and trying to get things calmed down. Making sure things stay under control as we get to the final moments of this ball game as we move along here. Got to keep your head. You're still in the ball game out there, Ed.
No, absolutely. And you know, you don't represent the name on the back of the jersey. You represent the name on the front of the jersey.
Road looking to the end zone. And it looks like he finds Keith Quincy over there for the Canton McKinley touchdown. He gets Quincy alone in the corner. That's going to make the score 33-14. And a tall order for Harding has just gotten a little bit taller.
One-on-one. Quarterback was able to find that single coverage up top there. Easy pitch and catch. I think the Harding defense was assuming that they were just going to get another dose of the running game. They were able to catch him off guard there, find that single coverage in the far corner. And that's gonna put the Raiders in a tough position here with only 7:35 left in the fourth.
Mankowski on for the extra point. That kick is not going to make it. That's going to keep the score at 33-14, as we said, with 7:35 to play here in the opening game of the 2023 high school football season.
Something to watch later in the year. You know, this McKinley team, you see they've got the size up front. You know, they've obviously got the running back. Their quarterback looks like he's got good command of the team out there. Be interested to see later in the year if their struggles in special teams come back to haunt them in some of their closer games moving forward.
$7:35 to play. And Harding, who had gone into the locker rooms at halftime with a 14-14 tie after the big kickoff return by Eris Coleman Bay to close out that first half, now finds itself 19 points in the hole, down 33-14. Canton McKinley with a steady dose of Nino Hill. Again, we did not see Nino Hill in the first half, but he has amassed a ton of yards on the ground in this second half.
Yeah, coming off of his sophomore year campaign, 1,000-yard rusher, obviously comfortable out there. He's got the big hogs in front of him to open up those holes, and he's shown the ability to stay low and use that speed when he gets in the open field.
So again, Harding with decent field position, and we are, again, people are starting to get just a little bit excited and frustrated out there.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, schedules come out months in advance. You know, you put the name up on the whiteboard. You know, all through the off season, all through two-a-days, you're focused. These teams obviously very familiar with each other. You know, we make that drive back and forth from Canton to Harding every year. Get excited to play in these games, whether it's the Hall of Fame Bowl there or if it's here at Mollenkopf Stadium. And so there's a lot that goes into this, and you take all that time to prepare. And you know, when you start to come out on that losing side of the score, you know, it's tough. It's tough, and emotions take over.
McCowan completes his pass for about a 4 or 5 yard gain. That looked like number 6, Devontae Jones, out there hauling that one in. Sorry, that was Kamari Adams, number 8. 6 yard pass play, 2nd down and 4. McCowan looking to throw again, forced out of the pocket, and McCowan is going to be sacked for a big loss. That's going to bring up a big, long 3rd down play. It looks like it'll be about 3rd down and 13 from the 33-yard line.
You know, that's probably maybe 3rd, 4th time tonight we've seen where the offensive line has provided the time for the quarterback, just unable to find that open receiver. Give a lot of credit to the defensive backs from the McKinley Bulldogs for having Drew hold that ball, giving their defensive line time to get in there and get the sack.
This time he gets to pass off, looking for Najee Jones. Just a little outside, a little high for him. That's going to bring up a 4th down and 13.
Yeah, McCowan made the right read. He had single coverage on the near side of the field here. Took that shot downfield to Najee Jones. Gave him the opportunity at the 50-50 ball. Unfortunately, just not able to come up with it. It's going to end up in a punt here at 4th and 13.
Raiders forced to punt it away here late in the 4th quarter now. 6:24 to play. Staring at a 33-14 deficit at the hands of the Canton McKinley Bulldogs. Jake Doherty on once again to do the punting chores. High kick takes a Raider bounce. It looks like this time the Bulldogs stay away from it. And that's going to go all the way down to about the McKinley 27-yard line. McKinley will set up 1st and 10 from there with 6:14 to play in the contest.
So still some time here. You know, we'll see what happens in here. You get a quick hit, get a quick score, maybe an onside kick. You try to turn this around, but you know, if you keep this game in the same momentum that it's going, good opportunity to get some of these young players in there, get them some time, let them feel the speed of the game. You know, that's the biggest thing I think that changed, especially some of these young sophomores. They're coming off of either their freshman year. The speed of the game is what they got to adapt to. It's just so much faster. Getting them that experience is what's going to build this program. You know, you see that they've got a lot of skill players down there. It's just, you know, it's that confidence. It's coming into these games and expecting to win, you know, feeling that, you know, you've done everything that you can, you're prepared properly, and this is going to be something that's going to hurt, but it's going to be something that they're going to learn from.
That was a handoff to Shakir Hatcher, and he is brought down in the backfield that time for a loss. Looks like about a 2nd down and 12 coming up for the Bulldogs.
Senior Devontae Ellis with a big play there, able to get into the backfield. Said his name a couple times tonight.
Second down and 13 for the Bulldogs. That was Nino Hill once again.
McKinley doing their best to try to run this clock down.
I think the Raiders are taking a timeout here. Raiders have had their moments tonight. A couple big plays by McKinley. That stalled drive a few minutes ago down at this end of the field. And that kind of sealed things up. A lot of promising things to see out there as we move forward into the season.
You know, didn't see a lot of penalties on the Raiders side. You know, that shows some discipline. Felt they did a pretty good job on the special team side, obviously being highlighted by the big kickoff return by Coleman Bay. Jake Doherty, 4-year starter, looked pretty good. Leg looked pretty strong. You know, just a couple big plays here or there. McKinley was able to, you know, they found that soft spot in the two deep safety set that they had a couple times. Was able to set them up in good position. But the running backs just really did their job tonight. And that offensive line deserves a lot of credit from the McKinley Bulldogs.
Pass is complete to Dante McClellan. Gets it out to about the Canton McKinley 43-yard line for another Bulldog first down. And big difference in the second half has got to be the emergence of Dino Hill. Like I said, I don't know where he was the first half, but they brought him out in the second half, and he just took over the ball game.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's no question that was the switch. You know, when you saw Nino Hill come in, number 12, he took over the game.
There's Shakir Hatcher. Hatcher is going to get caught in the backfield for a loss, bring up about a 5-yard loss. Second down and 15, maybe 14 coming up.
Hatcher, we said his name a lot in the first half, senior. But you see the difference in the running. You saw an arm tackle take down number 6, Shakir Hatcher there. Those are those tackles that Nino Hill was just running through constantly. Like I said, you saw good push by that defensive front, but if you couldn't get a shoulder on him, the arm was a waste of time. He's just too big, too strong, too determined.
And that's Shakir Hatcher once again. And again, Hatcher, well, he was caught. Now he's going down, gets back maybe a couple. Going to be a third down alarm, maybe a 3rd and 13.
We start to look forward to next week. I think, what is it, Bucknell next week?
Raiders travel to Akron to take on Akron Buchtel, and then in 2 weeks they'll be home here against Farrell. That's Thomas, McClellan, and Harris. They are the receivers down here on the near side. McKinley is just going to run the ball and let this clock work its way down. They'll be happy to send their punt team out with 3:20 play. And now the flags are starting. People are getting a little frustrated. There's another flag. And it's this point in the ball game where players just have to keep their heads. It's tough. It's tough to lose on opening night. Tough to see yourself down by 3 scores late in the game. But now the discipline has to kick in.
Yeah, and I see Coach Arnold. I see him standing on the field with disgust. Look, you got beat. It is what it is. You got a choice. You know, you can go out there and you can pout about it like you're seeing with these with the laundry on the field, or you can get better. And getting better isn't about hoping to get better. It's about working hard. It's about
Number 3, black. Personal foul, 56, white. Those penalties will offset.
Learn from a loss, as long as what you decide is never again. You know, you take this opening night, you take somebody coming into your home field and putting this whooping on you like this, and you put that back up on the board, and you say never again, and it's not just words, it's actions. And this team's got the talent. There's no doubt this team has the talent. It's just putting it all together. It's week 1, it's just week 1. They got a lot of opportunity going forward. They got a lot of big games on the schedule. A lot of opportunity to forget all about this game, but you got it. But you got to do it. You got to do it. And losing your cool and losing your emotions, that doesn't help you. That doesn't help for the win for next week. You got to learn from this.
Looks like the personal fouls were offsetting. The ball's not going to move anywhere. It's going to remain 4th down and 13. The Canton McKinley Bulldogs. They're going to bring their punting unit out, I'm sure. That looks like Kamari Adams is going to get an opportunity to step back and field this one.
4th down and 13, ball's at the 40-yard line.
Keith Quincy, who has done the punting all night long, on once again for the Bulldogs to take care of that duty. High snap over Quincy's head. He manages to get it off. It's not even going to get back to the line of scrimmage before that ball goes out of bounds. Quincy's down, but there's no flag on the play.
Looks like he got a piece of that. Yeah, the Bulldogs just all night just haven't really quite figured out the special teams. Something that obviously, if they're going to move forward in this season, move forward through the playoffs more specifically, is something they're going to have to fix if they want to compete moving forward.
Yeah, you're getting those tough games late in the season. That's going to be a difference maker for sure.
No, absolutely. I mean, whether it's whether it's leaving points on the field, or it's putting your defense in precarious positions, something obviously the coaching staff over at McKinley is going to take seriously tomorrow morning in films.
1st and 10 Raiders at the Bulldog 30-yard line, trying to make something positive happen in these final 3 minutes of tonight's contest. McCowan back to pass, looking deep downfield. Good coverage down there by the McKinley defensive personnel.
McCown's pass intended for number 8, Kamari Adams. Defending on the play is number 10.
Yeah, tried to take a shot there. That might have been a ball that he wanted to get a little bit of air under. Give his receiver an opportunity to go up with that for that 50-50 opportunity.
Second down and 10. And McCowan looking for Najee Jones, who is hit about the same time the ball gets there, so that falls incomplete to bring up a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, it looked like Najee let that ball get in on his body.
Najee Jones, ball's incomplete. 3rd down and 10.
3:02 remaining in the ball game. This time he finds Najee Jones. He hangs on to it.
About 5-6 on that quick in route there.
Looks like 6 yards. Brings up a 4th down and 4. 2:44 and counting. Down towards the end of week 1 for the Raiders.
Single coverage near side here.
There's a pass complete on the far sideline. It looks like Kamari Adams. That might be enough for a first down. Yep, inside the 20 down to about the 17-yard line.
Kamari Adams catches the pass.
First and 10 at the Canton McKinley 18-yard line. Clock running again after the change of set. 2:10 to go. This time we have Donovan McCoy. McCoy shakes a tackle. He gets hit. Ball bounces out of bounds around the 12-yard line. Close to another first down, just short. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 1, it looks like.
McCoy known for track. He's taken a couple big hits tonight. But what's most important, he got back up after it. He's proven himself. He's a football player. He's known for the speed, but he's absolutely a football player.
2nd down and 1. Canton McKinley 8-yard line. Under 2 minutes to play. And this time McCowan is going to go down under a host of Canton McKinley Bulldogs. Going to lose about 4 on that play. Bring up a 3rd down and 5. All the way back to about the 13-yard line. They make it 3rd down and 6, it looks like. And that pass falls incomplete. 4th and 5.
Like the idea there, quick hitters. Got your inside slots going on those slants, hoping they can get that quick step. McKinley in his zone, dropped those linebackers back, got him into the passing lanes, made it difficult to get that pass through.
And McCowan is going to go down one more time. Ball came loose, picked up by one of the Raider linemen. It's going to be turned over anyway on downs. And McKinley's going to come out and run off the clock to a week 1 victory for the Bulldogs. It's 33-14, Canton McKinley over the Raiders with 1:18 to play. I think we may see the victory formation come up here. Harding has 1 timeout. I don't know if there's any reason for Harding to call that timeout at this point in the proceedings, but they do have 1 on the board.
Yeah, at this point, let them take the knee, bring it back to the locker room. Tomorrow morning, watch the films, learn from this game, and start and then put it behind you. This is sports, and sports you got to have a short memory. The next week is coming. Great opportunity for them next week. I think that's a day game up in Akron that they'll be playing. But a great opportunity to get yourself off the schneid, 1-1, moving forward, looking towards the rest of the season, but learning from this game, learning from this experience.
And that's exactly what the Bulldogs are doing. Keaton Road has taken a knee on first down.
Officials discussing dinner plans. I don't know, go? They say Sunrise or BV?
And the clock wound up again. There's a few seconds left. I think McKinley will let this play clock run down just a little bit further. Give it another 8 or 7 seconds, and they're only going to have to snap the ball one more time, and this game's going to be in the books. Well, now we're under 40, so they can snap at any time. They're not going to put the ball back and play anymore tonight. And there it is. And that snap ought to take care of it, folks. The Raiders looked very promising in the first half, going to the locker room with a 14-14 tie, but they ran into a buzzsaw in the form of Nino Hill for Canton McKinley in the second half. I'd like to see the stats on that young man for the second half. I'm thinking about 150 yards rushing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no question, Tom. You said it. Didn't see him. We talked about him in the beginning of the game when we were going through some of the pregame notes. Coming off of his sophomore campaign, 1,000-yard rusher. Saw him in the second half, and he immediately made an impact. I think the takeaway from this game is the first half versus the second half for Harding. You know, they need to look at what they did good in the first half, and look at what they couldn't execute in the second half. And you got to make those adjustments. But most importantly, you got to learn from it, you got to build from it, and you got to move on. I mean, it's that simple. You got 9 more games of the regular season left. 18 teams make the playoffs. You want to put yourself in an opportunity to go to the dance. I think this team absolutely has the talent to do that. It's just putting it all together. Got to put together the complete game.
Once again, your final score from Mollenkopf tonight: Canton McKinley 13, your Harding Raiders 14. Harding, once again, will travel to Akron to take on Akron Buchtel next week, so we will not be on the air as it being a away game. We'll be back with you in 2 weeks when the Raiders return home to face Farrell on Friday, September 1st, so we look forward to seeing you all then. Hopefully, we'll be looking at a 1-1 ball club in 2 weeks and have a chance to get above the 500 mark early in the season. Eddie, always a pleasure. Alex, thanks for all your hard work tonight over there on the camera, my man. Appreciate it. Madison Brown was on a field camera, another Harding alumni, so thanks to those folks for stepping up and helping us out tonight. Again, we have such a fantastic production crew here. Eddie and I we're just along for the ride, gang. Yes. But all the credit goes to Fred Whitaker, Frank Bozak, and these wonderful students who put this on for us. Again, a couple of alumni here tonight to help us out. We get back here in 2 weeks. I'm sure that Fred and Frank will have current students out here learn the ropes and give you the quality production that they do every single week. We've said it before, and we don't say it because we're part of it, but a finer high school football broadcast you're going to have a tough time finding than what these folks do here in Harding. And Ed and I are just thrilled that they keep asking us back year after year.
Truly a pleasure to come up here into the booth every week and be a part of this great program that they put together.
So with that, we're going to say goodnight from Mollenkopf after week 1. Again, Harding falls to the McKinley Bulldogs 33-14. Hopefully they'll take the positives that they had throughout this game, put them to use, and good luck to the Raiders next week when they travel to Akron to take on Buchtel. We'll see you in 2 weeks when Farrell comes to town on September 1st. Good night, Raider Nation. Enjoy your weekend.